This is kind of gonna be a part two. The last time we had a live, we were discussing the Supreme Court's decision of the Civil Rights Act, okay, and their ruling on it, okay. Now we're going to be talking about Killer Mike, because Killer Mike had a response to the Supreme Court decision, and he was saying they've gutted the Civil Rights Act and we need to mobilize. We need to go out and vote this midterm. We need to have a mass amount of black voter boost and all of that. This is a very serious situation, is what Killer Mike was saying. And he got a lot of pushback on this app, on YouTube, all over the place. He got a ton of pushback, okay, for that. The reason why he got pushback, and I'm just giving you guys the gist of it before I give you my stance. The reason why he got so much pushback is because they were like, well, going at your history, he has not had a, I guess, reliable track record of supporting Democrats. And in the last election, when it came to Trump and Harris, he didn't support Trump, but he didn't support Harris either. He was giving criticism to Harris that didn't, I guess, help her program or help her election. He doesn't give Democrats their endorsement that easily. He will do it, but he doesn't give it to them that easily. He has said, and I'm trying not to say his name too much. I don't think I've seen it been said on TikTok several times, so I don't think it's that bad. But Mike, I'm just going to say Mike. Mike has said that he likes progressive policies like Bernie Sanders. Everybody knows Mike is a huge Bernie Sanders fan, and he wants politicians like Bernie Sanders. Those are the politicians that he gets behind 100%. He tries to boost, he tries to endorse, all of that. If you're not a Bernie Sanders type of progressive, he's not backing you up. That's just not how he's going to operate. He's not going to back you up if you're not like that. Okay? Not that he won't support you, but that's what he likes. Bernie Sanders. That's who he's going to back. All right? So, a lot of people saying, well, if you would have just supported Hillary, because he didn't support Hillary, if you would have supported Hillary, if you would have supported Harris, we wouldn't be in this situation. If you would have backed them up, if people like you would have backed them up, we wouldn't be in this situation. And this is why people are upset with him, because they're saying like, oh, it's too late now. Now that the Supreme Court is mostly conservative now all of a sudden, hold on, sir. Now, all of a sudden, now you want to come out and you want to mobilize people to vote. So that's why people are upset. So I want to get people's opinion on that. Before we do that, let me give you, adjust the mic. Hold on. Let me adjust the prompt. Hold on. Before we do that, let me give you my stance on that. Here's my thing. I don't think that we should be listening to celebrities with that much credibility anyway. Malcolm X has said this before. He's all like, celebrities should not be the leaders of the black community. I fully stand by that. Celebrities can, they can help, and I will give credit where credit is due all of the time. I will always give credit where credit is due. But one thing about celebrities, you got to understand that even if they want to help, they still have their own best interest. All right. So by definition, they're not of the people like that. They might be from the people, but they don't live among the people the way regular everyday folks do. So their life is going to be different. So what deals they may make may be a little bit different. Okay. So we have to understand that. So they might be doing something just for clout, just for getting their name out there. getting in the right doors, getting in the right rooms, which is why you have to be cautious when you see celebrities all of a sudden becoming activists, especially if they don't have a history of doing so before. Now, this isn't to say that a celebrity can't do the right thing, because we've had that in the past. Okay, we had a bunch of on code celebrities in the past helping out the movement, speaking about black issues before. So this is not nothing like all celebrities, can't trust them under any circumstance. No, I'm not saying that. I am saying we have to understand, just because somebody is a celebrity saying the things you like them to say doesn't mean that they're going to stay 10 toes on it. We've seen in recent dates, we've seen a lot of celebrities. They'll say something, they'll be cool, they'll be on code, we be getting behind them. Then next thing you know, their bottom line starts to kind of deteriorate. Their bottom line starts to shift. They might get sued or in trouble or whatever. Next thing you know, they walking back their statements and they giving apologies and they doing all of this and all of that, or they completely drop talking about politics altogether. Okay, so we've seen this. So that's what I'm saying. We shouldn't take what they're saying with that much, that deep. Okay. I mean, if they're echoing our points, that's cool. That's great. That's wonderful. But, it's not that deep. Now, to Killer Mike, right? Want to get to him. Here's the thing. Y'all, if y'all have known me for years, I never been on Bernie Sanders like that. I remember there was a big wave where people like Bernie Sanders. That was not me. I was not in that crowd. And this was before Bernie Sanders was running away from people saying reparations. Okay, before when people would say reparations, Bernie Sanders would look for the closest exit. This was before those viral videos. Even before then, I was not on Bernie Sanders like that. Killer Mike was, okay? He was super on Bernie Sanders. I wasn't part of that crowd. Okay. Bernie Sanders didn't win. Okay. Then it was up for Hillary and Trump. Here's the thing though. People was all like, well, if your candidate didn't make it, you should just automatically support the next Democrat candidate. I'ma say, I don't think so. I don't think so. If the person that you want to win does not make it to the primary, does not make it past the primary, okay? If they don't make it that far, you are not obligated to support the other person, the other next Democrat in line, just to keep Republicans out, which is what they wanted from Mike, okay? So that's why I'm all like, no, I do not agree with that. I don't agree with that, okay? If you're the person that is running, if you feel like that person is unqualified or unjust for whatever type of seat that is, president, Congress, Senate, whatever, okay, mayor, governor, whatever, if you feel like that person is unqualified based off of your standards, you are not obligated to support them. And I will say that for Mike. He's not obligated to support Hillary. And if he has a voice to condemn Donald Trump, which he has done, he also can condemn Hillary. This whole thing of y'all not a black celebrity is not supposed to talk about the Democrats because that's gonna make the Republicans look bad. No, I'm not for that. No, okay. Another thing. They say, well, if you would have just got in line, we wouldn't be in this situation, Mike. Listen, it's really the Supreme Court. So even if he did get fully in line behind Kamala, this still more than likely would have happened. And there would have been nothing that could have changed that, because this is a Supreme Court's thing. But here's the thing with that. He said that she doesn't get an automatic win based off of being black. And we all know her blackness is like, over here, I'm going to tell you for my sake, I don't really do the whole one drop rule. I don't do, my grandma's auntie is black, so I'm black. I don't do that. Okay. You gotta pull out your family tree to find somebody black in your family. If you gotta do all of that, you're not black. Like, let's not do that. Okay? Y'all really did stretch the definition of what it means to be black in order to fit her in there. I'm not for that. Okay? I've said that from day one. Now, okay, there's no wrong with being Indian. Cool. You can be Indian. Just be Indian. Don't be, I'm black. No, don't do that. So he said, you being black doesn't automatically get you to vote, which is what they were banking on. And people are mad about that because they're saying that people should have just fought. He should have just stayed in line with her to keep Donald Trump out. Look, this ain't me being a Trump supporter because y'all know I'm not. But this is me being about principle. No, he shouldn't have. No, absolutely, he shouldn't have. If he wanted to criticize Harris or say that Harris needs to raise her bar for the black community, raise the standard for the black community, he can do that. Now, one thing I don't like, I'm going to let people talk after this. One thing I don't like is when a celebrity, particularly a black celebrity, endorses a Republican, Donald Trump, whatever, and then they mess up. They be all like, you see, if you wouldn't have supported Donald Trump, we wouldn't be in here. You see, it's all your fault. You see? Okay, fine. And you know what? There's room for that. And that can be fair to a certain degree. However, I notice the hypocrisy because they don't do that when a celebrity endorses a Democrat and a Democrat completely messes up. All of the celebrities that endorsed Joe Biden, none of them were held accountable for their endorsement of Joe Biden. Now, all of the celebrities that didn't endorse Kamala, now all of them are held accountable for them not endorsing Kamala. So no, we're not going to do that. No, we're not going to do that. Okay? No, we're going to keep the same standard. We're going to keep the same standard. This ain't me saying I back up what Killer Mike is saying or his policies or his stances on things. This ain't me saying that, but this is me saying I'm noticing what y'all are doing, this policing of if you have status in the community, you need to be supporting Democrats blindly. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't agree with that whatsoever. What do you say, ZZ? Say.
Yeah, egregious. I'm actually a little surprised by this. I just want to know recently, if I caught the first half, but did something happen outside of his? Is he supporting another Democratic nominee right now?
No,
or?
this is because of the voting rights decision from the Supreme Court. Okay. And he made a video. I think he took it down, but I found it. But he made a video on, I guess he posted it on Twitter or his Instagram or something like that, where he was all like, hey, they just gutted the Supreme Court, or not Supreme Court, they gutted the Voting Rights Act. Black people, we need to get mobilized. We need to come out there in this midterm. We need this big voter turnout and all that stuff. So that's what he was saying.
Okay, got you. Okay, and they said basically it's his fault because he didn't.
Yeah, they was all like, "Oh, it's too late now. It's too late now. You should have been on this. You should have been supported Hillary and been supported Kamala and been supported this." You know, so.
Gotcha. Okay. I don't know if I was aware he wasn't. Did I know? I think I did know that actually he wasn't supporting Kamala. But yeah, like you said, it really wouldn't matter. It's a Supreme Court thing, so it doesn't make much difference. But yeah, I don't like, and I'm glad you started with that. We shouldn't be looking to celebrities for political leadership. Anyways, that's not their role. Their role is for entertainment. That's what we need to live it at. If you want to listen to them just for leisure, you just want to know your favorite artist's opinion, okay, cool. That's absolutely fine, but let's not take that as something we should be going to the polls as, as solid advice, to be leaning on. That's just not, it's not, an intelligent thing to do. So yeah, if they wanted to be in that position, they would get in that position, or they would have chose that lane to go down, but they chose entertainment, so let that be their, let that be their lane. But yeah, with Killer Mike, I'm gonna say before, like, he's cool. He's done a couple things I think I just can't really get with. That's why I never really became that much of a fan. I've never really gotten into his music and stuff like that anyways. But as far as the political things I've seen him done, yeah, even with him supporting Bernie Sanders was in somebody else supported. So I was like, I'm not with the lesser of two evils. I'm not with the whole, I know he was doing things for a lot of things for other groups or minorities, other press classes and things of that nature that had a lot of celebrities supporting him or people on the left and liberals supporting him. But I'm just not that type of gal. I'm B1 FBA first. You feel me? So yeah, that's what my priorities lay. If you're not doing anything for reparations and things like that, or bringing tangibles and benefits specifically for foundational Black Americans, then no, you're not getting my damn support. I think all FBAs should move in that way, point blank, period. So yeah, especially when it comes to these, whether you want to call them fake political leaders, political pawns, entertainers, wannabe politicians, however you want to call it. We do have to pay attention to that as well, because if they're not in support of that, then obviously it's not something that we should be backing regardless. It's probably not the route we need to be supporting or the person we need to be supporting. So yeah, that's not surprising to me though, that he even would come out. That's what I'm like, he's done some things that's already kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. So he's feeding into that scare tactic thing too as well. This we talked about in the last live. A lot of people feeding into this, this fear-mongering, trying to get Black Americans rallied up to go back and continuously, religiously vote for the left. So whether that's a Bernie Sanders or a Kamala Harris or a Hillary Clinton, it really don't make me no difference. All of these people are working for the same side. Which both sides are still the same sides of white supremacy, but they're all working for the same side. So yeah, I'm already looking at him sideways just based off that. But yeah, for him to come out and say that, it kind of doesn't make me surprised if he was such a support of somebody like Bernie Sanders. But that's what they do as well. These liberals, they flip on you like that too. Especially people on the left. They try to act like the right is so self-righteous, which it is. Because on the right, they use those tactics where it's like, you guys are, how could you not see the truth right in front of you? And they try to use that tactic, but then on the left, they turn around and do the right, and they do the same thing. Well, if you had to vote if you would have backed Kamala, then we wouldn't be in this position. So they really use the same tactics in different ways, to be honest. But ultimately, it's all anti-Black, and none of it's really for the benefit of Black people. So yeah, but we'll see what Ben got to say.
Real quick, James Bond Jr. has a question for you, ZZ. So, James Bond Jr., what's your question?
My question is that it doesn't make a difference who we vote in the office, because
no, sir. Before you say that, you had a question. No, I brought you up because you had a question for her. So, what was your question?
Is that what I asked? If she was the Republican MAGA?
Yeah.
Is she?
So you want to ask her if she's a Republican MAGA?
Yes.
Now, before she answers that, I want to ask you why would you think that?
Just by listening to her.
Okay, all right.
Wow. That's,
so, Zizi, do you want to respond?
I don't want to be mean, but
hold on. Let's let her respond. She might. Do you want to respond to being a Republican MAGA, Zizi?
No, I'm not.
MAGA, that's a surprise to me. I ain't know that.
I'm not a Republican, MAGA, blagger, whoever the fuck you talking. I'm not. I'm pro-Black, baby. I'm B1, Black first, and I worry about the well-being and the rights and the tangibles, reparations, moreover, for foundational Black Americans. All that red, blue, and shit is not. But I'm Black, so red.
I got you.
Now hold on, James. Hold on, James. Where I hear an accent. So where are you from?
Where are you from, brother?
I'm Black too, man.
No, where are you from? I hear an accent. No,
brother,
you trying to cover it.
Where are you truly from?
It's too late for that. It's too late for that. Where are you from, man? Just be honest.
I'm a citizen of the United States.
Where are you truly from, my brother?
I believe that.
No need to be ashamed.
Hold on, y'all. Do y'all see how hard they try to hide this? Where are you from?
Hide? I'm not gonna hide anything, man. I'm African.
What African from where, man? First off, it's like pulling teeth out to get them to admit where they from.
No, I'm not. I'm not sure.
There's no need to be ashamed, my brother.
African, man.
Be proud.
I'm Congolese.
You're Congolese. Why did it take so? Did you forget? Why did it take so long?
No, I didn't forget, man. Like I'm not ashamed for who I am, where I'm from. I'm Black. I'm proud to be Black, and I believe the sister and like what you were saying, like Black first, like I believe in you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not here to be like. I was just curious because like the way she was talking, I just assumed that it's kind of like MAGA talk where like even like for Killer Mike during the 2025 election or 24, he was like don't vote for her, blah blah blah, and all this thing. Now he's like, oh shit, I made a mistake. That's all.
That's what he said. He made
Did
a
he
mistake.
say he made a mistake?
I didn't
I
hear
mean, pretty
that.
much the video that he made. You know,
No,
like
I
it
watched the
seems
video.
like.
He never said he made a mistake.
Yeah. What are
So,
you
what was the
talking
video
about?
about?
You lying, brother. Please don't lie.
Okay.
So, what
So
was the
you're
video
coming up
about?
here, you're accusing people of being MAGA Republicans, and now you're hella lying on people.
No, I didn't accuse anybody. Like you guys, I mean, I could say the same thing that you're accusing Kamala of being something that she wasn't.
Okay, what do we accuse her of being that she wasn't?
Well, like so
Exactly.
reparation, for example, right? You know that like even like it is so hard to get that bill through because you got the Republicans. I mean, it's much easier if we have like a Democrats in the White House and the Congress.
Oh,
Okay,
no,
hold on.
sir.
Let me
No,
let
sir.
me
Please,
repeat.
no.
Hold on. Let me repeat the question. Maybe you're my American accent. Maybe you're not
Oh, I
understanding it
understand.
that
I
well.
understand you, brother. I
What
understand
did
you.
we hold on? What did we accuse her of being that she was not?
Exactly.
That was the
Pretty much,
question.
I've heard being like fake. Like when she was gonna get in there, she wasn't gonna do anything, and like they're just like the same. Like which is not true. Especially like what's happening like in the South right now, where like in
So
Louisiana.
we accuse you. You know, notice you're answering very briefly and vaguely, and then trying to go past it 100 miles an hour. So we accused her of being fake.
Well, okay. So first of all, like when I got into this chat, I just kind of hear what sister was saying, and then I think I've come across your page before, so I've been on your show before, and I know exactly who you are. Like, like I know you're anti-democrat. Like I know, like for example, like when I listen to you for like, it's pretty much what I'm hearing from my ears. Like, it's pretty much like pro Republican MAGA. That's
Really?
what I'm hearing. I'm sorry, like.
Okay. Now
He
it's
said
it's
he wasn't.
interesting every time they say that, y'all. Every time they say that. Anytime we talk about MAGA, anytime we talk about Donald Trump, which we've done on several occasions, anytime we talk about that, these people are never here for that. These people never show up when we dragging MAGA, when we dragging Donald Trump, Charlie Kirk, they're never
Yo,
here
you
for
said that
that part.
before. Yo,
Okay.
Elite.
Yet anytime we
Elite,
say
you said
something
that
about
before too. You said
anytime
that
we say
like 2 months.
okay, hold on, brother. Anytime we say something about the Democrats, they're always here for that. Oh, I only see y'all talking about Democrats. I only see y'all talking about Democrats.
I mean, I guess that's you like probably stuff from the beginning, like, and forgive me, like, but I'm just being honest with you, like, because like when I was listening to you, like, I honestly like I didn't really hear any criticism towards the Republican Party and like what they're doing right now. So like I should probably, and it's my bad, and like I said, forgive me, like I should probably start from the beginning when you start your show, so I can like hear you criticize everybody. But every time I tune into your show, it's always like Democrats, like what they're doing, what they're not doing, and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, man, I think it's better like for us to get that bread. Honestly, like I
For
think
us
the
to get
Democrat
that
Party is
bread,
like much better than Republican. That's
what
that's
does
just my
What type of
opinion.
bread,
That's
sir?
my
mean? What
opinion.
does that mean for us to get that bread? What does that mean? What do you mean by
To
that?
get on the table, you have to have a partner. You know what I mean? Like so, like for example, like
Who's our partner, sir?
who's up like I don't know, Democrat Party, man. Like I mean look what they're
Yankee
doing in
deals.
Louisiana right now.
Yankee
Like they're
deals.
trying to like I mean, have you seen what's happening in Louisiana right now or Georgia? Like the governor
And
of
the Lord, sir. Move
the
on, sir,
governor of
please.
Louisiana has suspended the election. There was like a black lady office being raided in Georgia because like they didn't like what happened in 2020 whatever it was. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's just me, but I guess we're gonna have like different opinion, which is cool. And I'm
You sure don't know, cause you all over the place babbling. And this is sad, man. We get a lot
yeah.
of y'all characters up here too on Afro's panels. It's real sad how you coming up here just trying to get ZZ off her swivel. She's not nothing. Ain't nothing about her ever been MAGA. She's an on-code Black American sister. So you might not know the difference between somebody who has real authentic hair and some women within your homeland who wear divestment wigs. So she explained to you that she wasn't MAGA, and Afro truly trying to explain something to you right now, but it's just going over your head. So I need you
AJ,
to do better
I'm
when you come on
loving.
these panels.
what you gotta insult people, man? Like I didn't insult you.
All right, now you apologize, right?
I did apologize.
Now
Like
now you're just gonna go back down and you're gonna listen. All right, we're gonna continue our productive conversation. I only
Sir,
brought you up so
please,
you can
thank you.
ask that question. I only brought you up so you can ask that
thank you, I
question.
appreciate you, man.
Afro,
Y'all take
That's the
care.
only reason I brought him up. And I want y'all to understand the reason why you see these immigrants supporting the Democrats so heavily is because the Democrats support immigrants. That's why. All of the other stuff, it's not for anything else. It's the fact that Democrats heavily back, support, defend, all of that stuff, immigrants. That's what it is. And that's what they want us to be behind. And the fact that for the large part, foundational Black Americans ain't really supporting immigration like that. That's why they all like, oh, it sounds like you MAGA. That's a shaming tactic. Are you a MAGA Republican? That's a shaming tactic to get people behind, being all like, oh, I don't want to be labeled as MAGA. I don't want people to think I'm MAGA. So I guess I gotta not say anything about the Democrats. And everybody can feel how they want to feel. As long as nobody's saying it, it makes the Democrat brand look righteous. If we speak out against their injustice, then they no longer can have we're the righteous, progressive, moral brand for everybody. No, they can't have that label and that brand. Okay, so when we, the party's base, the Black community, when we speak out against that, it messes them up, and they don't like that. Okay.
And that's
Now he came up here bumbling all over the place. I want y'all to understand this is the intellect of the trolls in the chat room. You guys sound like MAGA. You guys sound like MAGA. Okay, well, come up then. Let's have a conversation. Where
you had all that mouth,
I said,
but you didn't say that in the damn.
It's like I was interrogating him.
Literally.
Okay.
Yo, let me talk to him.
It's like I was interrogating him. Okay,
He
could not admit where he was from at all. I had to ask several questions. He knew where he was from the beginning. Okay.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, they play both two sides of the same coin, because the right, especially the religious, those that's in the conservatives that are more religious on the right, they use that self-righteous tactic, like,
yo, let fly guy, yo, let fly, yo.
You gotta chill out. She's talking, bro. Like, chill, bro.
I'm gonna be honest with you, HD.
My bad.
Yeah, because this is not the first time,
I
bro.
thought fly guy was in here. My bad.
Yeah,
He's not in here. Like, chill out, dog. You gonna get to speak?
Mind yourself, because BX ain't even. Where's BX at actually?
She should be here. She's supposed to be here. I don't know where she at right now.
We clearly need her to set the decorum. Egregious. So let me just get that out of the way right quick. Hey, Kate, when you come on the panel, please stay on mute. Let the host, me, the co-host, please. The host of Afro will bring you up. Co-host, I'll mute you if you don't, do too much. I mean, you do too much, you come off mute. I'll bring you up too if you in the comments and he don't see you or something like that. Make sure you state where you're from, your ethnic background. If you're bi-ethnic, we understand. Please just let us know that you're a bi-ethnic. And isn't that pretty much the gist?
Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah, go ahead. We're gonna go in order. Please let the host call you up. He's gonna let you know what's your time.
All right, yeah. So we're gonna get stuff started. I mean, the room's already kind of circulating, so we're gonna get stuff started. Y'all make sure y'all tap the screen, hit that follow, all that good stuff. So let's get to DJ Mike. We got a lot of mics in the building.
Oh, okay. How's everybody?
We good. How you doing?
All right. The Killer Mike thing is interesting. Where he was going for Bernie Sanders. I never really thought about Bernie. I didn't think he was the worst politician, but the way that whole thing turned out, it turned out good for who I support. So what happened was that we gave most of our votes to Hillary. So that once Hillary knocked him out the box, I truly think that he would have put up a better fight than Hillary against Trump, if that makes sense. So
you would have thought that who would have put up a better fight?
Bernie Sanders.
Oh, okay.
Against Trump. I mean, against Trump as opposed to Hillary versus Trump. I think he could have convinced more black people probably to go with his socialist ways or whatever. So, but in the end, I want to thank all my black people for voting for Hillary over Bernie. And we had the opportunity, and right now today, Donald Trump is the president. And that's what it is.
All right. Thanks, I guess. So let me just be clear. You support Bernie, or you support?
No, I said I never thought that Bernie was really a bad politician, but
Okay,
I
but
did think he was better than Hillary.
okay. When it
So,
comes to Hillary and Trump, you supported Trump over Hillary?
of course, Hillary
Okay.
was,
I'm just trying to be clear about where you stand on that.
yeah. Oh,
Okay.
Jesus. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. We're gonna get to the next speaker. We're gonna get to our sister Candy. Candy, how you doing?
Hey y'all, what's up? Can y'all hear me okay?
Hey,
Yeah, I get you.
Candy.
I hear you. Cool.
Hey, how's it going? Okay, so listen, what I was thinking was I am really getting to the point where I think that these people go whichever way the wind blows. They're trying to get their clout up. And I think that once upon a time it was cool and popular to be, oh, we're Democrats. And then now it's not popular. So now they're kind of flip flopping. I've always thought that celebrities did whatever benefited them when it did because they never say anything. They kind of be quiet, say what they have to say to sell their movie, to sell their album. And I don't think they should speak for us because they don't. They don't really understand what we go through. I mean, which one of them really cares that gas is $5 a gallon? Like, seriously, they're making millions. Like, we are the ones who are out here dealing with these people in our communities, messing stuff up. We're the ones advocating for reparations. We're the one advocating for tangibles. While our politicians who allege they're for us do line dancing and want to get outside and they want to show us they know the new hustle and they want to do dance routines and they want to tell us about hot sauce and they want to tell us about all this stuff that really doesn't matter. But when it's time for us to go to the polls, all of a sudden, oh, hi black people, let me pander to you, let me give you benign neglect, let me address all your concerns but do nothing about it. But at the same time, when I speak to other groups, not only do I address their concerns, I offer them tangibles. They have tangibles. They can say, hey, I remember when you were in office, you did this for me. And yet, and still, they still won't vote for them. But with us, they won't do anything for us. A lot of black communities don't even have any other representative besides a Democrat. We don't even have options in our community. But they want to sit there and tell us, like, oh, look what's happening. I think this is a good thing
Yep.
because y'all been playing in our face for generations. It's
Yep.
time for y'all to lose. We're not voting for nothing no more. Democrats, we want our tangibles. We want cash payment reparations for foundational black Americans, and we want an anti-black hate crime bill. And if you don't like it, you lose.
That's right.
And we don't care about what's happening right now. We'll get another Voter Rights Act just like we did in 1965. They didn't give it to us because they wanted to. Just remember that. It wasn't because of y'all. So we know what to do. Don't worry about it. We got this. Y'all can lose. And I land.
All right. That's what's up. Thank you very much. Let's get to when you're not speaking. If you can mute, because there's background noises and it just throws everything off. Family. Let's get to the African receipt.
It's me, the Black Receipt. I just changed my name for the week. But shout out to everybody. Some things that Killer Mike talks about, it's understandable because he's coming from what some would think a street perspective and a middle ground perspective, but he is somewhat like a Democrat shield in some cases. Cause and I wouldn't say that he's a dangerous individual, but it is misguided, a lot of things that he say. And like you said earlier, we shouldn't rely on celebrities and entertainers to get political advice from, because they're there for entertainment purposes. They're there to make us feel good, laugh, all those things that entertainers supposed to do. One thing that the Democrats did do when it came down to their shaming tactics when Kamala was running there, they told everybody, do your research, think for yourself. And now people are actually doing that, and it's backfiring because people are truly looking into the backgrounds of these people, seeing what people have voted for, where they're really leaning towards, and their true ideologies. And
Big
it's
change.
contradictory, contradictive to what they're actually pushing to the public and say what they and claim that they're running for. and now they're removing with intention and asking for true tangible deals when for our vote they're in panic mode. So they're throwing anything they can at the walls, every fear tactic that they can think of. Like right now, you don't see what's going on. You should be scared. Vote Democrats because we know they're our friends, and we realize that they have been somewhat of a friend, but a parasitic friend, and this relationship needs to end. Fortunately for us, unfortunately for them, and hopefully people use their discernment and continue to choose people wisely, no matter what party they're part of.
That's true. We got to use our discernment. Thank you very much for that. Let's get to HD.
What it do? What it be?
What up, though?
Listen, basically wanted to say, when it comes to dealing with black men that want to help the community, all we can do is just peep their track record. You know what I mean? That's all we can do. You know what I mean? I'm not here to hate on what Killer Mike might want to do. Yeah, if he want to do something good, I mean, he tried the bank. What happened with that?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, y'all forgot about y'all forgot about the bank.
I'm not sure what bank. Well, I'm not sure about that.
You got me lost, brother. Let
Whoa,
us know
y'all
what's
forgot
going on.
about the.
Okay, well,
Nah,
tell us about the bank real quick. Tell us about the bank.
he was trying to start a bank in the like 2016.
Yeah, he was trying to get a couple of black entertainers together to start
Okay.
a franchise, a bank franchise in a couple of states. They they kind of started it,
What
but
happened
they
with
couldn't get the
that?
backing because of what happened to Kanye.
Huh?
Because Kanye was one of the major backers, and when he got into one
And
of
they
these
ain't backing. And they ain't
tits,
backing.
okay,
So it's because it. So basically, let's think about this for a second. I'm about to break this down. Then I'm gonna land. Yo. So because they didn't run with Kanye back in 2016, the YT people was able to take him down in 2024. Yo, you can't make this shit up. And I land.
All right. EJ,
Well,
you got it.
Yo, I land, bro. I land.
All right,
I
EJ.
land. I land.
all right, bro. Thanks for letting your point. Don't drive too. Thank you, brother. Salute to you. I think with celebrities like Killer Mike, they use them as images of our community in the entertainment department. And certain things can be a win-win when it comes to certain people like that that want to get their value back up if they're not doing anything popular in the music realm. So they'll go the political route and try to use their momentum or their street cred or even their experience within the music industry to try to navigate people out here to be voting. We have seen this before numerous times with a lot of these celebrities. You've seen it with Snoop Dogg. You've seen it with YG. The whole F Donald Trump situation. I think a lot of these folks use these rappers and these celebrities within our community to try to try to get us out there to vote and to try to keep us under the hamster under the wheel route. They want us to keep circling around doing the same stuff over and over again. And I think that if a lot of these people don't put themselves in the political realm, they wouldn't get roasted. I think you should leave that up to a certain amount of people that has the experience within the Black American grassroots or the political realm. I think certain celebrities should stick to like entertaining people because I think a lot of them, that's the only thing that they can do. They make themselves look like real idiotic and they embarrass themselves by trying to get into the political realm and try to show their allegiance to either of these parties. So, I just sit back and relax and just listen to these people entertain me because, a lot of these folks aren't meant to be in certain realms when it comes within our community or even having a voice to, speak for the people because, a lot of these celebrities have shown their ass and done had, cartoon tendencies when it comes to these political parties. And with that being said, I land my plane.
Yeah. Stick to what you're good at, which ain't politics. All right. Let's get to Jasmine. How you doing, sister?
Hey panel, hey ZZ, hey Candy. Happy Wednesday. So I'm gonna be honest, and someone did just ask this in the chat because I was a little bit confused too. I thought this was like a RIP Killer Mike thing, so I was just like, dang. So I guess it has something to do with like politics. I'm not the only one
Yeah,
who
yeah.
asked.
Killer Mike
Okay.
made the video in black and white. I don't know why I think he thought he was being dramatic or something. He made I didn't black and white this video. He posted the
We ain't got
video.
enough money to
And
color it, Afro.
no,
We're
I
going through
didn't
hard
do
times.
this.
It's a
He
pandemic,
posted the
brother.
video
Please.
in black and white. I did not do
It's
this.
hard,
He
Afro.
posted
Please.
his
People
video
on
in
the
black and
budget,
white.
brother.
That was all him. Yeah.
Oh
That
man.
was all him. I
Okay.
don't know why he did that. I thought he was being dramatic or something. I don't.
I mean, all right. The only thing that I have to add about him and his politics is I know that he talks a lot about rappers using like their lyrics and like those RICO cases and stuff like that, right? So I can see that being something that he's passionate about when it comes to criminal justice reform. But beyond that, I'm not that familiar with him. He seems controversial. He has something going on with like I guess Magic City Mondays or something um and strip clubs. I don't know, but I came up here originally because I heard people talking about the Democratic Party, then people who were MAGA, and one being better than the other. Just to summarize, my thing is when it comes to like policies that directly affect FBA, neither party really does anything for us. I would say that I lean more right because inadvertently the Conservative Party has done things that help us. I don't appreciate the Democratic Party always pandering to us with celebrities, which I kind of find offensive. Like, look, we got Megan Thee Stallion at my presidential campaign, like shaking her ass and shit on a campaign. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. You have Hillary Clinton with hot sauce in her pocket, and then you got these greens and the tubs. I just didn't care about any of that. But I do want to say this when it comes to like reparations and policies, just really quickly, when it comes to the reparations, the HR 40 study, they've been trying to study this for so long, and I just don't get why that's the only thing that the Democratic Party can come up with. Well, we're going to study reparations. We got to figure out, like, what are y'all studying? Like, I don't get it. So you can't really say that that's a benefit for us because it has amounted to nothing, like $0. But you know who has gotten money based off of their
Mm-hmm.
studies? The small hat community. They got like 80 billion plus direct payments from both parties. You have the Japanese Americans with their Civil Liberties Act, 1.6 billion, both parties. The Native Americans, tens of billions of dollars, both parties. Alaskan Natives, over 1 billion, both parties. Native Hawaiians, Hispanic farmers. Black farmers, kind of, but it was both parties and more so leaned towards the immigrants. You have the refugees in the immigrants with the 1980 Act getting 10 to 20 billion annually, right? And guess who has done anything for our party? Neither party. Neither party has given to us. So it's just weird to me that we should have this allegiance to the Democrats because they use us as moral mascots. Because when when people use our struggles, like with the march with the Somalis over the bridge in Selma, they use us to get other people on board. And that's why I think that the Democrats are very upset with us right now because a lot of our women were like, the 92%, we're staying at home. And now it's having a trickle down effect. So that's one thing I want to point out. There are some other things. I'll land there for now.
Thank you. Now,
Afro,
BX,
Afro.
don't, because I
No,
already know he
no.
gonna be
Why
on
you
me on
didn't?
that.
I had to message you. Now, no. I was so deep in an argument because first of all, they're trying to call our ancestors their ancestors. So I was arguing, and somebody came in and was like, BX, sister, come to Afro. I guess he was saying she aggravated why she not over there. And I said, wait. I looked at the top of my dashboard. I did not see the little notification. So I messaged you, said, Afro, are you live? You said, yeah, I said this move, you know, and I come in here and I see y'all been live for a while.
Now hold
And the
on.
other time you sent it to my phone, what
Afro's got a
happened?
defense for
Hold
himself. He can
on.
explain himself.
Yes. Okay.
What's
Thank
the
you, EJ.
defense?
Okay. I sent it before we got started. And then it went for a while. And I'm all like, okay, we waiting on BX to come up. ZZ came up. She like, is BX coming? I'm like, okay, yeah, she coming. We waited. Then somebody all like, BX is in another room. So I'm all like, okay, well, since BX is in another room, she's probably gonna be there real quick. And then next thing you know, folks started coming up, and then somebody asked ZZ if she was a Democrat shill or a Republican shill, and then we started having a thing. And I'm thinking you just in some heated conversation. I sent the invite to you like 3-4 times. I kept sending it to you.
Weird. But I was
Yes,
really
Afro, you
going
did your
off,
thing,
but
brother.
you usually would send it to my phone if I don't answer my inbox. That's why.
Yeah, but I was told that
Yeah,
you were
no,
in
no,
another room, so that's why I was all like, okay, she gonna be here.
See what happened, BS, was
Mm-hmm. Hey, EJ, why you didn't come get me? You already, with me, you was together earlier. When you dropped, you was coming over here,
I just
EJ.
got off work.
He just got
Uh-huh.
off work, BX.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
oh my
All
gosh.
right. Well, I'm free tonight, so we could go a little. I missed 30 minutes. I guess you could do an extra 30 minutes for me, Afro. What
That's all right,
about
brother. We
what's
going
going on
overtime.
with Killer Mike?
Uh, okay,
Go
all
beyond
right,
that.
all
Thank you,
right.
y'all. Thank you for coming to get me, y'all.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's get
What's
the
going on with
well.
Killer Mike though? Because usually, it. I saw something. They said he's taking up for progressives, but they're upset that he's not taking up for Democrats or something. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
What's the issue?
Yeah. He doesn't support the party. He supports pretty much politicians that push a progressive agenda. So individual politicians of the Democrat Party, but not the party itself. And they're upset about that because they feel like that hurts the party. Let's get to the wealth builder.
Hello. How you doing, everybody? Grand rising, grand afternoon, evening, everybody as well. Just sitting here listening to the conversation, man. It's very interesting conversation, very intellectual. But I think as a people, one of the things we have to understand is that there is no such thing as a Democrat or Republican Party. They're all politicians. And what we have to do as people, as a culture for ourselves, is learn how to leverage our power to get the things that we want. And I agree with Killer Mike as far as like Spirit Airlines. Why we all can't come together in some type of form or form type of form to where we buy Spirit Airlines. We consume well over $2 trillion a year in this country. But like you said, what do we own? We don't own none of the basketball teams, baseball teams, football teams, and these are $1 billion teams. What do we really own? What can we put our stamp on and say that we own? We do have some very intelligent and black men and women that do own, that have ownership. But I think it's time for us to leverage. Stop looking at Democrat and Republican. If it's a strategy. If you can cause division, you can cause people to be weak. But we got to learn to leverage our power and what we want and get the things that we're going to get. You don't hear any other culture talking about Democrat and Republican except for black people, right? Everybody else should learn how to leverage their power to get what they want and whoever in office. And I land right there.
I mean, but you hear white people talk about Democrat and Republican all the time. So they're the main ones talking about it. They always talking about politics. So, but yeah, I
Yeah,
get
both
your point. I
sides
get
do.
your point though. I get your point. Appreciate that. Let's get to my brother Dave. Dave Anderson is in the building.
Peace. What up? What up? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Peace. Hope everybody's doing well. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Mike done got himself in a sling, huh?
Yeah.
So I will say this. I've known Mike for 20 some odd years. Mike is a really wonderful guy. However, some of the things that he does culturally and politically, I can't really co-sign. Respectful. When you have grand opportunities given to you by palm-colored people, some with small hats, some without, you begin to get compromised. And so you're only just ethnic enough to get people to believe that you're pro-black. but he's not really down for the cause. I submit to you his show, Trigger Warning, where he thought it was a good idea while touting the beautiful marketing of groups like the Hells Angels, to take Bloods and Crips and have them go into home kitchens and make soda and then try to pass it off in local stores. I also contend that it's a problem when you're telling people that the only way that they can learn trades is by showing them corn while showing them trade skills. The other part of that is when it comes to the Greenwood Bank, which still does exist, by the way, it was a black face on a on a white space in a high place. That bank was a hustle by him and the light skinned dude from Grey's Anatomy and a couple of other people because yeah, they had a piece of it, but the majority of that was white owned. And they continue to play in your face because they know emotionally, especially post pandemic, it was, oh, we got to mobilize. Now, where Mike is 100% right, I do lean right, but I am very much about policy. If your policies align with tangibles, with growth, with my ability to hire more black people, then I'm with you. I don't care about policy. I'm not loyal to anybody but my family and my bottom line. Mike, in and of himself, has done things that are contrarian to our way of life. So now he's getting what happens when what I call the reverse Negro wake up call, when black folks who are in power are saying, Killer Mike's out here being a dumbass. Go to my iPad. This is what happens. He went out there and said some things that made sense because in order to get tangibles, you have to go after policies, and you can't just go voting on tradition and talking Martin Luther King and Edmund Pettus Bridge. You got to start cutting some checks. And until we cut some checks and realize that we need to buy politicians on both sides of the aisle, like the gays do, like the small hats do, like the Italians do, like every other ethnic group does in this country, we'll never get anywhere. So Mike is getting what people feel like he deserves because he's not towing those same talking points that lull the majority of our people to sleep. And I'll land right there for now.
Yeah. And this is, I agree with that. And this is what I'm saying. There's a lot that Mike has done that I disagree with. His political standard. First off, my standard, and y'all all know this, and I'm pretty sure everybody in this room has the same standard as far as my standard being reparations. Okay. You asking for a vote. I'm asking, okay, what is your stance about reparations? If your stance is not an absolute yes, if your stance is a well, I'll look into it, I'll see, I'm not sure. If your stance is indefinite, okay, then my support for you is not gonna. First off, I know my support for somebody is not indefinite. Is not indefinite. It's not vague. It's not up for interpretation. It's either a flat out yes or no. Okay, if your stance on reparations is not a flat out yes, my stance for your vote is a no. That's what it is. That's not Killer Mike's standard very clearly. Okay, clearly that is not where Killer Mike stands as far as his standard for the community. One thing I don't like to, and this is one of the things when he was backing up Bernie, because Bernie was pushing a socialist thing, and he was not really making a big appeal to black people. He was talking about, well, we got to do stuff for black people, poor people, women, LGBT people, short people, people with this income, people of that income. I'm all like, okay, come on, man.
Gave you the
And
D
Mike,
answer
I
all of the above,
remember,
Afro.
you said what?
Basically gave you the D all of the above answer.
Yeah, it was
It's
an
for
all
everybody.
lives matter thing. And I remember when Mike was all like, we have to understand black people aren't the only people who've been oppressed. It's black people, it's brown people, it's yellow people. Then he went, I'm like, what? Oh my God. He lost a lot of points with me on that. I'm not going to lie. He lost points with me for that. Okay. I don't like it because it's not like black people have not understood anybody else's struggle. So I don't like when people preach to black people, we have to understand we're not the only ones who are going through it. First off, you don't need to be telling us that at all, first of all. Second of all, we going through it in a way that nobody else is going through it or has gone through it. So for you to sit up there and try to water down what we're doing to make it, or what we've gone through to make it equivalent to everybody else, I have a problem with that.
No, a thought just hit me. What if he added on the other people? Because we got to understand.
Thanks for the gifts, everybody.
We do understand that when we stand on lineage business, like back in the day, they were standing on race business, but the race was primarily us. They're subject to be harmed, co-opted, all type of things. What if he wants to seem, pro-black, and adding the others just as a shield, like kind of trying to stand on the. I know what I mean, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And so it's
yeah.
easier to take it cushions him a little bit if he adds everybody else. He doesn't want the real smoke standing on lineage business like a lot of us. Like, I'll just jump off the porch. Foundational Black Americans only. Now, he seemed like he'll stand out there and be like, yes, we're foundational, but also the Latinos were harmed similarly. Like, we don't need that.
Yeah. I would say
And
even if he wants to do that so he can seem more palatable, and I know that's people's strategy, like, oh, I'll get further if I seem more palatable, if I seem more likable to a larger demographic of people, I can get further ahead. I hear that strategy. However, I do think that that's dangerous in the long term, because what that does is that waters down the severity and the grievance that black people have had to deal with, or it upscales the hardship of everybody else. And then when it comes to certain policies and who should be prioritized as far as reparative justice and things like that, then it becomes hard to kind of decipher, okay, who needs to be prioritized with affirmative. Like, that's how we get into the affirmative action type of stuff, where it's all like, well, I mean, you all admitted that everybody's going through it, so I don't understand why black people should be first with anything like that. It gets into that. So I understand that strategy. I think that that strategy is not productive in the long term, though, because I think that it waters down too much of what we've been through.
Can I ask this really quickly, because I'm trying to get a better understanding of what Killer Mike has done recently or in the past like few days for him to be garnering this much attention. Like, where does he lean? Um, like, what side does he lean towards? What did he say recently? And I get the gist of it, that here's another shill in our community speaking for us, just happens to be kind of flip flopping between policies. But what has he done recently?
This is a screenshot from a video he posted about the Supreme Court, their decision on voting rights in Louisiana. And he's saying, hey, they just gutted the Voting Rights Act. Now, we talked about that. They just did whatever to the Voting Rights Act. Black people, we need to get out. We need to get mobilized. We need to, get together, work together, and we need to get out there and vote for the midterms and all of that. And you have a whole bunch of Democrat shills who are all like, well, Mike, you should have been saying this. You should have been telling black people to vote. You, Harris, you shouldn't have been criticizing, should have been these politicians. So what they're saying is that because Mike has not been 100% solid through and through for the Democrats, he doesn't have a right to speak on this issue. So that's why I'm having this conversation. Like, there's a bit I don't like about Killer Mike, but I don't like how the shills are coming at him.
the shills shouldn't be allowed to speak. They've been speaking enough. I don't want the Pan Africans speaking either. They've been speaking enough. Like, I want people with delineation mindset that's going to call out the likes, and everybody's going to say, BX, that's your nemesis. Yvette Clark, Karen Bass. I want Brandon Johnson. Like, I want politicians that are, or people who are going to speak for us because they have the platform to call these problematic Democrats out. How will anything change? How do they expect to get the vote if they're steady finding reasons not to address us and the things that we are needing? We have email campaigns going on. We're protesting certain things, and nobody's asking us what the real problem is. And the one time Al Sharpton could have had an opportune, and I know he ain't really no type of leader, but they deem him to be. The one time he had an opportune time to find out what one of us was really thinking, he called them an agent. And yes, I'm talking about Brother Melrose.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, they don't really want to hear our voice. They just want to talk to or at us. And I'm sick of them. And I'm sick of their sympathizers and supporters. I think all of them need to go in the corner and be quiet and let us handle things for a little while. Let's see how things turn out.
I
But you know
agree.
they're not going to do that. They're never going to do that
I
because their
know.
whole job is their paid opposition. Al Sharpton got what, $500,000 from Kamala and the DNC? Roland got 330,000 from Kamala and the DNC. It is their job to stop any type of progressive, pro-black, pro-foundational black American lineage operation at any single cost. And why in the world would you trust someone or even fix your mouth to call somebody a leader who is a paid criminal informant, who literally was plastered on every newspaper in New York and a few around the country for his ability to take down the mob from the inside and then rat out other foundational black Americans? I can't understand that logic. We know what they're there for. It is our job to do what my brother Black Alpha did, which is go in, confront them, shut them down. I expect nothing from rats and paid chills other for them to start chirping and chimping and stopping us at every turn. So we got to be prepared for that.
I think it's unfair that every time we speak up for our rights, we get shut down, we get called agents, we get all this pushback. But what can they say? Well, this is what we're doing for you. This is what we've done for you. You can never push back with that. But you want us to be quiet and acknowledge everybody else. Guess what? Worrying about everybody else is why we are on the bottom now. It's time for us to put ourselves first. It's our turn. It's been our turn. It's beyond our turn. And enough is enough. We're not going to play with these people anymore. And then they're coming at this guy, Mike, because they know that he is a celebrity and maybe they can sway him to help push their agenda because the rest of their shields aren't working anymore. We're not doing that. They have to start speaking to what you're doing for us or leave us alone.
Know what else too? They don't listen to us, right? So remember when the reporter ran up on Yvette Clark and she says, listen, according to CNN, 76% of black Americans are for this AVAC. And Yvette Clark was like, I don't believe that. And even if so, it's the racist. So she's not even believing those who are polled. The
She's
Denzel
paid not to
Washington.
believe. She's paid not to believe.
Yeah.
You're supposed to stop looking through your lying eyes and listen to what these shills tell you. And that's the problem. There's too many of us who do not act like we act. Everybody in this room is exceptional because we're already hip to the game. But think about how many people you're related to, how many people who birthed you, how many people who you love and sit down every holiday with who think along the lines of these shills because that's what they've been programmed to do. And they believe the LBJ lie to a point where for 6 decades it has worked beautifully. And anybody who says anything counter to that is automatically a hater, ignorant, or misinformed.
Yeah.
You're right.
I want to add to that. I know you have someone else on the panel, but there were like someone mentioned earlier about us voting as a block. I mean, it was probably a little bit earlier. And what do we get out of being split or being loyal to the Democratic Party? We have to start looking, and this is my own personal opinion, instead of being a voting block, being more so like an APEC, right? And someone mentioned this earlier, lobbying. What do we lobby for? Well, we'd have to create our APEC, right? We have our four main focuses, like housing, when it comes down to like FHA, housing assistance, redlining resources, and home ownership programs. Education policy is one of the things that we pay attention to, especially when it comes to affirmative action and when all those Asians, students, whatever, put that lawsuit together to get rid of affirmative action because they thought it was going to hurt us. And then it ended up hurting them. Things like that, right? Student loan relief, school choice. The other two areas, wealth building policies and labor and employment, which are kind of, they go hand in hand depending on if you're a business owner or if you are the average citizen, when it comes to minimum wage and immigration policies and tax cuts and home ownership incentives. So I see all to say, like policies like ICE, when we start looking at the policies, we have to stop basing it off the emotions, but looking at like, why would I support ICE? Whether it was brought upon as a policy for the Republicans or the Democrats, which is obviously not true. The Republicans push that. I support ICE because when a lot of these Latinos get into positions of power, like Mayor Karen Bass over in LA, and here in Houston, there is a lawsuit going on right now with Houston Community College, where there was a Latino woman put into a place where she could hire and fire people. And guess who she was firing? Us, FBAs. And that's just one circumstance. They do it all the time. Every other group does this, but it's frowned upon when we do it, to the point where we don't even like talking like that because we're just so empathetic. But anyways, I'm gonna land there with that. But I do feel like we should be more so of like a sovereign entity like APAC, and then move as a collective between the groups, because there's no reason that we should be giving the Democratic Party our loyalty.
Yep.
I agree with that.
Yep. Let me see. Let's get to the next speaker. We have a new speaker here. Let's get to Lindell.
Hello.
Yeah, hey, how you doing?
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing?
We good. You wanted to come up. You were asked to be.
Yeah, I requested the first time, but I kind of withdraw because I was cooking. But I did look into. I think I knew about the Killer Mike situation for a couple of years now, because when he first voted for Trump. But personally, how I feel about it, definitely, because I know mostly everybody here in this panel said that they're more right leaning and all that. But personally, me, I'm more so like how I personally feel. I feel like personally, we should all be equal in that and all that stuff. But I also agree with reparations. I also feel that us as FBAs deserve reparations and all. And we should definitely, separate the difference between us as Black Americans who have lineage through America versus the difference between people coming from different countries who identify as, want to identify as FBA, quote unquote. But how I also feel, and I know they said this on the panel earlier, is we do need to have a sense of really showing our votes matter and using both sides as a pawn. Because hearing the panel for a while, I was knowing me, I was kind of like, well, even if you go to this side, they don't really fuck with you. If you go to this side, they don't fuck with you either. And it mostly targets that, excuse my language, but white people side, because it's the simple fact that basically it's like an agreement to, okay, you come to our side, you have to agree to our terms. And if you kind of get out of whack, and then it's like, now I got to disrespect you because you as an African American, and we also already got to work 10 times harder, and we are battling to basically get our spot that we already deserved over these centuries. And it's like, I hope I'm not, getting too out of whack
Yeah,
with stuff.
let's tighten it up because it's a little. I know you feeling a lot, but
Yeah.
it's you.
But
Oh, you veering off like you on the road, but just sometimes
yeah, I'm on the road. Yeah.
staring off the edge.
Yeah, that's my bad. But really, what I'm trying to say is like, what both parties really showed me is it's not. It's basically, to me, people really just trying to assert themselves with whiteness, and like, when we try to speak up about how we feel and what we should get, we're not the ones to be defended first. We're always the ones to get attacked. And that's why I feel like both parties don't even, come to our defense. And that's why when I was hearing on the panel, you're more right leaning and all that because of policies and all that. And I'm just like, well, really, at the end of the day, you could do one thing that they don't agree with, and they already trying to kick you out. They already dislike you because of your skin already.
Okay.
So it's like, really we
Okay,
have
let
the
me ask you.
power.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Because I feel I know where you're going now.
Uh-huh.
You're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what you're saying is that we shouldn't be on either side. Okay, we shouldn't have any leaning towards any side at all. Period. Because leaning to one side or another is us leaning closer to whiteness, right?
A little bit of that, but also the simple fact that over many times before, we have seen both black people on both sides literally be affected by white people because they didn't agree with this one thing.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
why I'm like,
So
you really want to lean here or there, but it's really like at the end of the day, when you do lean and you don't like something that they don't like, they're already coming here to attack you
okay.
anyway.
Now, okay, got you. Got you. Let's clear up exactly what, because Dave said that. So I'm gonna let, if Dave is still here, I'm gonna let Dave address that. What he
I'm gonna
meant
say, yeah,
by leaning, he leans more right.
right.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. Did you hear what he said?
I missed part of it. Could you repeat the question or the statement?
Basically, I was saying like I see that most of you guys like in the panel say you lean more to this political stance than this one, and I was just like, really, at the end of the day, no matter where you lean, it just takes one thing that they don't like or one thing that they disagree with that basically puts you into a whole attack against you because you don't align with them specifically,
Oh, so just, and I can't speak for anybody else, but I've never
right?
worried my entire life about being popular because I'm not in high school and I haven't been in 30 years. The
Right.
thing that I will say to you is if everybody likes you, you're doing something wrong. The other part of that is conservatism for me, and I can't speak for anyone else, and I won't speak for anybody else. Um, Conservatism for me is a set of values. I am a father of daughters. I have an issue. My oldest daughter, when she was in high school, played volleyball. I would not want a man in her locker room because he decides to identify as a woman one day because he woke up and couldn't hack it as a man. I also do not believe in being pushed towards killing anywhere between 15 and 40 million of us because a person who was so vile was honored by the Klan, and she's the only woman to be honored by the Klan, who was also Hillary Clinton's childhood hero, aka Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood. Those things to me do not align with foundational Black Americans and the preservation and perpetration, the preservation and the perpetuation of our lineage. So why in the world would I align with a party that continuously uses me as a guinea pig, but then puts me, my people, and my needs last? The reason that the majority of densely populated urban areas are food deserts, and we have people telling us, oh, well, we got $35 insulin, but no way to get us clean, healthy food that would keep us from being diabetic and pre-diabetic in the first place, all come from liberals. Every major city, Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, LA, um, DC, Detroit, all run by liberals, and they're all trash. You got so many kids in Baltimore that can't read at grade level. Georgia public schools are a joke. Philadelphia public schools are being closed down, shuttered, and turned into luxury condominiums while our children can't read at grade level. And everybody's so focused on the test scores that they miss out on educating the child. You tell your kids they can do absolutely everything that they want to do, but they got to perform this way. And when boys do what boys naturally do, which is get up and move around, their behavior problems. And if you have autism, which Black girls get diagnosed the least and the latest in life, then all of a sudden you're an issue and they don't know how to handle you. So they put you on an IEP, drug you up, and then the pharmaceutical companies, the teachers union, and the city governments are all in bed with each other. I cannot sit back and vote with a party that continues to get in my way while smiling in my face. Malcolm warned us about the white liberal, and we keep ignoring that advice because we pick and choose what we want to pay attention to because it doesn't fit the convenient path. If that means that I'm ostracized by these Negroes who continue to fall for the likes of D.L. Hughley, who's rich and has never subsidized one person's house, never subsidized one person's education, that's their business. I'm not going to do that because that does not align with my values. And my job is to protect my children and protect the world that they're getting ready to enter in by making it a better place. I can't do that while being told that I'm supposed to prioritize illegals that haven't paid into the system while black veterans still can't get seen at the VA. That's where I am with it. So I'm not worried about what somebody thinks or says about me. That's why I own my own businesses. That's why I operate the way that I do. You can't cancel somebody who don't have a job that he doesn't own. That's
I'm
it.
so glad he
Man, I
said
love how you said that. I love that. I'm so sorry whoever was speaking, but I love that's what I and this is exactly what I was on to. How you're passionate about it. That's what I like to see. And you actually brought up a lot of points that I was trying to actually speak out about was
Mm-hmm.
literally the simple fact that how Malcolm X was warning us about these white liberals. And that is mostly why I said why I kind of reached into that both party end because that's mostly who gets it and who is the most influenced at the end of the day is white
Right.
liberals and white Republicans.
Right.
And that's why I said really we got to use our vote as a con as black people
Right. But when
because
that happens, bro, not to cut you off, but I got to say this. When that
yeah,
happens, we got to be more politically astute. I'll give you an example. In 2019, I had a surplus of cash at the time. And I had some folks approach me and was like, yo, we want to start a political action committee. So I dumped a very large amount of money, in order to make that happen. And so many black folks was like, nah, I don't get it. It's never going to work, da, 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 da. And so I lost a great deal of money, like enough to buy 2 houses worth of money to make things like that happen. But then I got with some other folks and we started something. We're the only foundational Black American lobby group on the Hill. It's called fsicoalition.org. You can go check it out. And even with that, we still have to play a certain level of ball, but I'm never on the all lives matter stuff. When I show up, everybody knows that I'm there for foundational Black Americans. That's how it should be. We don't hold the Congressional Black Caucus to any type of standard because they're the only caucus that has a lineage based caucus that talks about everybody else. The Hispanics don't do it. The Asians don't do it. The gays don't do it. The Italians don't do it. But we're up here talking about we want to secure the American dream for Black people and all marginalized groups. Damn that. But see, we're so worried about the get along gang. We're so worried about being put in pictures. We're so worried about hanging out with the president. Because let me make something clear. The majority of the right wing Black folks don't rock with me either. And I don't care because they're all dependent upon those particular people. I am good either way. My kids are fed. My house is paid off. My bills are paid. You can't buy somebody who can't be bought. And that's where we need to get ourselves to. But we don't do that. We just let these folks who are talking from behind their gated communities with their armed security guards and their $1 million truffle salads tell us how we need to be living and what the Black community is. So I don't give a damn if you're a Republican. I said conservative, not Republican. I don't give a damn if you're a Republican. I don't give a damn if you're a Democrat. I give a damn what you have for me. If you have nothing for you, I have nothing for you. If you got something for me, I got a check for you. If you think I'm lying, go ask the Philadelphia president of the city council how he got to be president of the city council. I wrote a check. That's what we need to do. All this talking, all these think pieces, all this think tanking, nah. I don't care which side of the aisle you're on. I care which side of the lineage you're on. And if you're ready to handle my business and come to the table, I don't care what you look like. And unlike Ice Cube, you can't block me because I'm not looking for universal small hat distribution.
Okay, I want to add to that, Lindo, because I know that was a lot for you to take in, but I will forget. But the business said something that was super important, and can you put like your organization, your lobbying organization in the chat? Because I do want to follow that, because that was what I was trying to say too. So I'm a veteran, right? I'm a Black, obviously an FBA veteran. When it comes to reparations, people like to stop at schmavery. It's like, oh, you guys should get reparations for schmavery. No, we should be getting reparations for schmavery, them taking our land, the freedmen who got their land taken from them, the banks that were raided, one which Kamala Harris recently was sitting there trying to speak for the Freedmen's Bureau Bank, right? The random fires that happen to our cities. If you guys are following like a
Wait,
couple,
Jasmine. Jasmine, when you get into all of that, that's where the trick bag comes in. So we have to be specific because we have a specific harm that is owed a specific debt. And a lot of our intellectual brothers and sisters who've been dealing with this reparations thing have thought a lot into a lot of that. So they have a lot of trick bag, and that's how a lot of our games have been co-opted by a lot of people of color and black and brown. So we have to be specific and do one thing at a time so that they don't come in and take it.
no,
Definitely.
absolutely. And I'm trying to say it without saying it because they also come in here and pay attention to us and they're like writing this down like, oh, you want money for that too? You want money for that? The medical harm, medical apartheid, you know, the things that happen to women. Why are we so at risk for unaliving during childbirth? You know, the medical harms, the Tuskegee syphilis experiment, right? All these things we're going to get our get back for. And we're not going to walk away from it because it feels good to let it go. Because, like I said earlier, when I was listening, all those other groups that are to this day giving reparations, except for us, that's the things that we have to outline so that we can get our get back. But I'll land there.
Okay, so obviously you haven't really been watching like New York reparations hearings. There are presenters coming and saying all those things and applying it to the immigrant groups. AOC is actually, well, she actually, and Afro Lee had a special about this, like on his live. He showed how she was trying to tether on the Latinos, saying that reparations would not come in the form for slavery, but more so mass incarceration, the New Deal redlining and stuff. Why? Because that's when the Latinos started migrating to places like New York. So, yeah, Candy is right. Everybody, you know, the reparationists, they put in a lot of time and stuff. I understand. But my whole thing is, okay, if we stick to slavery and our emancipation date, we can lock these people out. Right now, we are being so railroaded in New York. It's just horrible. I don't know how much nicer I can be. But, yeah, Jasmine, so that we understand and we're right there with you. However, they are ahead of the curve, if you ask me, because they're already at the reparations hearings, and the AOC is already sat on main stages saying why the Latinos should be given reparations for mass incarceration, and I say she's full of BS.
Okay, I see. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Can I
Yeah.
share? Wait, Jasmine, let me share something else with you. Let me tell you what happened to those people with that beach. They got a beach, right? So this is a prime example how they try to play you, right? So they say, okay, this we're going to do. Reparations going to be a piece of land. Well, let me tell you how finessing these people are. They going to give you a piece of land. It might be a piece of land you can't do nothing with. You might not be able to cultivate the land because the land ain't good land. You might not be able to put a house on it because it's like swampland or something. Or they'll zone it so you can't use the land for anything. Or they'll overtax it. How you going to pay for that? Then if they have it zoned to where you can't build anything to make money with, well, zoning costs money because you need attorneys to fight zoning boards to get the zoning approved so you can build. You don't have the money for that. Then they overtax it. You can't afford the taxes. So what are you going to do with this piece of land? Nothing but sell it back to them. Now they own the land. They say, well, we did it. We gave you reparations. It's always a trick bag. You got to think like the folks, how they've been finessing us. You got to kind of think like that. And remember that when you're going into this, right? Think, okay, how can they finesse this? We don't have any anti FBA H crime bills yet. So we have to have a lot of things in place. We need to have tax laws in place for us to go with it. You know, it's a lot of stuff they would do to finesse us. So you got to think like them so we can get it and we can actually see growth with it and not see it as a bag for everybody else to come up off of us.
What are you
Green candy.
thinking? You and ZZ are just quiet. Afro looks like he's thinking.
I'm letting everybody talk. I'm letting everybody express themselves
So he just
on that.
taking it all in, just just reading his mind. He's like, "Yeah, I'm focused, brother. I'm focused."
No, I'm
Well, I ask
enjoying the
these
conversation so
questions.
far.
Well, my apologies, Afroly. No, I ask questions because I like dialogue. Like I like to get deep into the nitty gritty of like the different talking points, and maybe some people aren't like definitely nobody on the panel or whatever, and most of the people in the room. Maybe Lindell is a little bit confused, but when we start talking about these things, we have to look at it from every angle, from the higher view, 5D view, 3D view. How does this affect that? Letting too many people in this way. I get it. I just like to throw those questions out there because I know when I was trying to understand these things, it was like sometimes like, dang, the killer Mike not alive today? Like, they come in here and we're all talking about real deep politics. So
Yeah,
that's
no.
that's what I was doing. I don't know.
Yeah, I was about to say I was like I know y'all was on a different situation and like I said, all different political views and right wing and left wing and all that. So yeah, I was like sort of a little bit confused, but at the end of the day, I did see that we still had basically the same point of view when it came to us and deep political views as well. So I still think we got on the same.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Pretty much we are. Now, you raised your hand, the wealth builder. You raised your hand a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We was talking about reparations. I wanted to comment on the reparations part of
All
things, and
right.
I will say that I'm not against reparations, but what I am also not in opposition for, but we need to understand our own lineage. You go to any of these black households and you can ask what your lineage is, and probably people can't tell you beyond their grandmother. Um, and we need to understand where our lineage is, what our lineage is, because that makes us strong in understanding who came before us, which empowers us, because our ancestors were strong people, intelligent people. And when we're talking about, like the lady said before, when we're talking about the reparations, we need to be pacific because you do have other ethnicities that want to jump in on us because they already know that we're strong in what we do. They want to jump in and try to undercut us and stuff like that. And also, we need to do more of, like the gentleman said before, we're talking, but where's the planning at? We got all these black people on here. Who's exchanging phone numbers? Who's exchanging? Who's forming? That's the part we got to get to now. We're very intelligent in talking, discussing, and putting the topics on the table. But now we got to start strategizing and planning and really bonding, getting phone numbers, getting contacts. Hey, we're forming this. That becomes the stages and steps that it'd be good for us to see and good for us to take, because right now what they have it as black people gonna march. We're gonna march, we're gonna get out there in the streets, we're gonna do all that what's name, and then we're gonna go back to Target and buy some products. And I'm not saying, I'm just giving an example.
Mm.
Where is the planning and the strategy phase to where we start taking what we're saying, put into a objective, a plan and strategy, and making it effective and sticking with that effective agenda? I land. You all have a great night, man.
We don't
Okay.
You
have any
too.
leaders right now. What we do is we're all coming together as collectives because we all had the same thought process and found each other. Like-minded people found each other. So what we're doing now is getting the word out there to some of the people that may not know this stuff, that may come in here ear hustling and be like, I didn't know that. Oh, I never thought of that. I didn't know that the Democrats were bothering the kids in the schools with genders and stuff. And then parents couldn't say nothing about it. Yeah, that was where my deal breaker was. Some people didn't know. Some people didn't know that Democrats were giving debit cards to illegals in some of these states and cities. When they got here, they were getting debit cards with cash money on it. But they keep telling us what they can't do for reparations, cash payment reparations. A lot of people don't know that they were doing all this stuff. They really thought we were making this stuff up. They didn't know that they were really helping, having secret job fairs for illegals that they didn't want us to know about. They didn't tell you that. They weren't telling you about all of the programs they gave these people, housing, hotel rooms, while these illegals stepped right over homeless Americans, homeless veterans, homeless black Americans, and went right into a luxury hotel room. And then they didn't tell you that there were Democrats who got caught in a live interview on the news talking about we care more about undocumented Americans. They don't even go together in a sentence. They literally talk like that. But y'all wouldn't know that. They tell us everything they can't do. In the same breath, they in another room telling those people what they're going to do for them. And then turn around and they don't even vote for them. And yet they still do stuff for them. And then tell you what they can't do. And then most black Americans don't even know this. They're just Democrats because that was the thing to do. That's played out. You can get treated like crap by anybody. Why you helping this person who ain't doing nothing for you keep a check, keep a job? They getting all type of perks, special parking. They going on trips. They getting big checks. They getting cashed out. Democrats get to go to parties. They going on vacation. I mean, they living it up off you every year. They got a job, pension, insurance, all type of stuff, and they won't do nothing for you. And you've been voting for them for how long? It's time for them to lose. It's time for you to fire them. It's okay to say enough is enough. You can do that. It's okay. It ain't gonna. It's look. I know you're scared of Trump. I know y'all scared, but we don't have to be. The Republicans can't be no worse than the Democrats. I'm telling you. I honestly feel like we need to just either vote them out or sit it out. But I'm not telling you how to vote. But they ain't did nothing for you for your loyalty, for real. They haven't earned it.
I'm
I'm gonna
not
Let's be
also
making
really
add.
sense.
specific about the veterans. Okay,
I'm
my
gonna
bad.
also add this. The statement that black people don't know our lineage beyond our grandmother. I'm not sure exactly where that's coming from or why you would think that. We know our family lineage quite well, actually. To be honest, we actually know our lineage, if in the grand scheme of things, better than most other people do. Historically, we've had family reunions. We've gone back to different states just to reunite with different family members and things like that. So we know our family beyond now.
Did he
Maybe
drop?
not like
Wait, you're
super
referring to a
close and
comment in the
personally, but
Wait,
like
Candy.
yeah,
No,
we know
not
our
you.
family beyond our
Yeah.
grandma. You
But did he
know,
drop?
even
He
yeah,
dropped?
he left. I didn't kick him out, but yeah, we do.
He
Like
did the moonwalk.
the whole black people don't know themselves and all that. Nah, not
But wait a
no
minute,
no, that's not
Afro.
true. That's
EJ,
not
was you
true.
there when I was getting on the lady? Was you there in
I
the
was
other
in there
room?
roasting that Jamaican Taylor because he was real disrespectful. I was about to, put him in a sharpshooter. He was up there talking crazy.
But listen, Afro. This is something new that's going around. I think it is from the Tesla base. I just finished getting on a lady from New York who said she knows who her mother is, but didn't really know who her father is, and that she's having a hard time with her genealogy and all of this. And then she said, truth be told, most Black Americans can't. But I'm looking at her name. I only seen a Caribbean with her name before. I said, me.
And a
Stop
rainbow
doing
emoji too.
that. Were you there, EJ? I had to tell her stop doing that, but I noticed that she's not the only one. He's not the only one. It's starting to come from somewhere. They're trying to deter Black Americans from doing their genealogy, which is very harmful to say most Black Americans can't in a room full of genealogists. I mean, my God. Like she just didn't know what was coming for her when she said that line. But he's not the only one, and she's not the only one. They said it before. And I find it to be a form of fear mongering or a deterrent for us to look for our people. And I think it has to do with the fact that they know they're not entitled to reparations. And so they want to deter us so that we don't stand on lineage business and go after some flat type of reparation deal. It's got to be
Can
coming from
I'm
somewhere,
sorry. I thought you
Afro.
were. I want to ask you a question, BX. Because I've been seeing that too online. You know how they try to separate the FBAs with the American Indians, and then all of a sudden you find out that a lot of the American Indians aren't actually FBA; they're just part of the Americas, and that's how they're trying to backdoor their way into our politics and whatnot. Because I personally believe that, and I think that everybody should be hip to this or whatever, that they're over here paying attention to what we say on in these spaces. And once that one side of our community was like, do your genealogy. And we're all showing our genealogy. Like I had my whole genealogy posted on my page at one point. And I took it down because I'm like, oh, this is their next trick. They're going to look at where we come from. And that's personally why I don't give too much information and kind of like have to like take a second and think about what I'm saying because they're
Hmm.
using that. They're trying to figure out how far can we go back? Where does your genealogy stop? Because we want your reparations. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
So
Yeah.
here's the
That's
thing. We're only going to the 1870 date. We're not going to 17, let me see, 50. Like, we're not doing the 13 colonies. I never put my genealogy up. Some people have saw it, but I ain't putting it on this app. They won't be touching my ancestors. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So I see what you're saying, Jasmine. And so ask everybody, use discretion when posting. I know we don't believe in it, but even when using the DNA test and your ancestors' pictures, please use discretion because these people are hungry for something they don't deserve. I'll land there.
Let's get to the next speaker and then we can wrap things up. Let's get to the Teflon Sean. The Teflon Sean, you got it.
What's going on, fam? How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm alright, man. Yeah, I'm black, man, or Black American, or whatever you want to call it, man. But my family descends from and I'm from the Bronx. I'm 52 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a little old school, you know. But my family descends from Georgia and Virginia. You know, my dad's side, they descend from like the Eastern Shore. Like I think that Powhatans, they was always talking about that kind of stuff. You know, they tell you ain't no African in us, ain't nothing, ain't none of that. You know what I'm saying? They were saying that for years, but I ain't really paid much attention to it. And my mom's, her family from some small town in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like, you know, these like the immigrants and everything, you know, I think if they, you know, some of them really mess with us. You know what I'm saying? They say that they, I fucks with you, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you do, man, stand back. Let us get it together. You know what I'm saying? Understand that, you know, we already over here. It's like we in a fight already. You know what I'm saying? We got things going on here. You come over here talking that I want a better life, shit. You know, we don't owe you no better life, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, we got a substantial debt that's owed to us. You know what I'm saying? It's like we fighting and they getting in the middle of it. You know what I'm saying? Playing this buffer class and all that. You know, and if they really feeling us, man, you know what I'm saying, they should step aside. You know what I'm saying? Go back to their own country, man. Try to fix that. You know, I'm ready for all of them to go, to be honest.
I'm with you, and I hear the Bronx in you. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Like Brooklyn say, nah, I mean, nah, I mean, nah, I mean.
Yeah, you know, I can't help that, man. But when I'm in court, I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's my profession. You know what I'm saying? I work in criminal defense.
I hear you.
Yep. All right. All right. Yeah, as far as when it comes to the immigrants or whatever, first off, everybody's action is going to show where they really stand on certain things because everybody can say one thing, but their actions are going to let you know exactly how they feel and where they stand on certain things. And we've seen enough of their actions to be able to comfortably say the collective of them leans this way or believes in this. So we're just going to have to. Just it was a notification that just popped up on my screen for some reason. We're just gonna have to go by that. We're just gonna have to go by that. As long as we make sure we empower our own ethnic group, our own lineage, we're gonna be fine. That's all we gotta do is make sure we keep that in our focus. All right, but we can get to everybody's, I guess, final thoughts, closing thoughts,
Appreciate you, man.
wrap things
It's
up
okay. I
here.
gotta go.
If you gotta go, yeah, go ahead, EJ.
Yeah, my final thoughts is when it comes to the whole Killer Mike situation is basically for me it's in one end right out the other. He'll be back probably on these people's jock strap very soon. He probably said something that a lot of people agree with, and he probably said something that a lot of people don't agree with when it comes to these celebrities trying to have a somewhat alliance with the Democrat or the Republican Party. See, this is a transactional moment within our history when it comes to each political party. If you ain't doing nothing for us, I don't feel like voting for you. I don't even feel like getting up going to work tomorrow, but I got to. But sometimes that couch be too comfortable, and if you ain't giving me nothing tangibly for my people, I don't feel like doing nothing for you. I can see Megan Thee Stallion twerk for free online. Hell, I can see people twerk for free anywhere else in this damn world, but they don't give me nothing tangible in my pockets. We need something financial, like money, like benefits that you was giving these illegal aliens. And I don't have no problems with certain things that these ICE agents are doing. But when it comes to these administrations, you're gonna have to do something transactional for the foundational Black American community community. We want y'all to keep that same energy and have this magical money and these benefits that y'all have for these other groups of people to come dwindling down into our bank accounts and into our communities. So with that being said, don't focus on these celebrities because a lot of these folks are wishy-washy. They sing song, they want to be on code with the black grassroots one day, then they want to go back licking the boots of the Democratic or the Republican plantations the next day. But with that being said, I'll land my plane. Make sure y'all keep y'all fly swatters when these tethers come in, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.
I'm going to use your words, EJ. I'm going to say this magical money. I'm really going to use it. Don't be surprised when I do.
Now, there was somebody who was in the chat room saying some stuff, and I sent her an invite, and she came up. Did y'all get rid of her? Because I looked
Spoke
back up and she
about
was
her.
gone. So what happened?
1 minute. Is that the Fulani Sanara TV? Was that
Yeah,
her?
that was her. I sent her an invite.
Okay.
What happened?
I don't know.
So she dropped by herself? Okay.
Yeah, I
Well, there
didn't
you
see
go.
her.
Yeah, if you're gonna come up and say I don't even know what you said in the beginning. Well, what was I must have missed that. What did she
You
say in
see
the
her?
beginning?
So she was saying stuff like she's listening to a bunch of black people,
Oh, there
confused
she
black
is.
people
Okay,
in a
what'd you
world
say?
of racism.
There you go. What's going on?
Hello, good evening. How's everybody doing on the panel? How are all of you victims of racism doing? And I hope you're doing good. Are you
We're
doing
doing
good
great,
today?
thank you.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Feed into
Despite being
that,
a victim of
y'all.
racism, we're good. So
I need
what's on
what's
your
her
mind?
ethnic
What's on
group?
your mind?
What's her ethnic group? What's your ethnic group, ma'am? Race is unconstitutional. We are stepping away from race, right? And we're operating off an
Okay.
ethnic group.
Now, soon, where's your family lineage from, man? Come on, we invited you up in good faith so we can have a conversation. So you can unmute yourself.
I'm American. I'm a foundational legacy Indigenous African American. I came with the British over here. Thank you.
Oh
Oh,
God,
okay,
she's
all right,
trying to co-opt a
okay. You're that.
movement.
That's what you are. That's fine. What
Thank
do you have
you.
to say about the prompt or the panel or something? Because there was
I
a
just
lot of
don't.
back and forth in the chat room.
Yeah. I just was only saying we don't need to be confused about racism. That's all. We should stop being confused about racism. We should know the position that we sit in, and you black men and us black women, we should come together always to end racism. And if we're not doing that, we're wasting our time talking to each other because it's not going to get us anywhere if we're not 100% fighting racism. Okay.
Okay.
And that's apparent that we're not doing that when we have our little powwow sessions. And all I try to do, because I'm a student of the United Independent Compensatory Code and Black Power and Yurugu, and I think when we come together, we always should be practicing justice,
Mm,
truthness, correctness. It's the only way. It's how we desegregated America. So if we
okay.
continue to stay on that pathway, then I think we could see a lot of access and opportunity for ourselves. But because we're not seeing things that way, we're losing a lot of our programs and things that we need because we do exist in a system of racism. So
Okay. So what do you think we're
Chicken
doing
goopy,
here?
y'all.
What do you think we're doing here?
I think it's just confusion talking. Like, what are some of the plans that, for example, what are some of the plans that you each individually have at building justice in
Okay,
your
now
communities and
hold
for
on.
yourselves?
With all due respect, ma'am, you're saying that you feel like we're wasting our time essentially, and that we're all confused. And then I
According to the
ask you
United Independent
why
Compensatory
do you,
Code.
that's because that's what you conveyed. That's what you conveyed. And then I'm
According to the
saying,
code.
why do you feel that way? What has
Because the
been said
code book,
here?
because if you read the United Independent Code book, it plainly tells you that you should not be sitting around having unproductive conversations if it's not to
Okay.
end
Okay.
racism.
Now here's the thing, ma'am. Here's the thing, ma'am. You're talking about this book right here? You're talking about this one right there?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
yeah. So yeah, I have read that book. That book right there that I just showed you. So yeah, I have that book and I know
yes.
what you're talking about. So I'm asking you, you feel like this is an unproductive conversation, right? And I'm asking, why do you feel as if this conversation is unproductive? It
Well,
also
what in
tells
the
you in the
conversation are you talking about that's producing justice?
ma'am, it tells you to be
Okay.
clear about what you're saying too. So let's
Okay,
be
yeah.
clear. Why do you feel
Yeah.
like this is an unproductive conversation that
Because
doesn't have
it's
to do with
not
racism?
because it's not trying to end racism. What
How do
is
you
your
feel? Okay,
conversation?
no, no,
What is the
no. If we're
conversation
hold
about?
on, ma'am, because you're accusing us of wasting our time. If we're addressing issues that affect the black community, what makes you think that this is not addressing black empowerment and ending racism?
Because I sat here before I came up and I actually listened to everybody on the panel. I
Mm-hmm.
actually was listening. Okay, that's why I can say what I'm saying. And all I'm saying is that we just need to be more productive in our conversations when we talk amongst each other as Black people and make sure that it's really productive. Other than that, it's just a wasted conversation. I mean, you can have your conversations and talk about whatever you want to talk about. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just one person of a million Black people in the world. Okay, don't get in your feelings and egoic about the things that I say because I'm just one person.
No, I'm not in my
And
feelings.
what I'm doing.
Clearly, you something in this something somebody said has bothered you, which is why you're
It's
trying
not
to.
bothering
Okay, hold
me.
on.
It's a
No,
fact
ma'am,
that we're
ma'am, hold
not
on.
being
No, hold on.
constructive
No,
in our
I'm gonna speak.
conversation.
I'm gonna speak, ma'am, and then I'm gonna let you respond to what I have to say. You were triggered by something that was said in this room, which is why you're all like, "Oh, this is a waste of time. This is a waste of time." You have not articulated anything that was said that should not have been said at all. We're
According
not
to
out
you,
here.
but
Hold
I'm
on, ma'am. Don't do
articulating
that.
very
Don't do that.
well. I'm a
We're both
Toastmasters
adults. We're both
certificate. I
adults,
have
and we
the
will have an
public
adult
talking.
conversation. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I brought you up so we can have a
We're
good
having a
faith adult
conversation.
conversation. Now, here's the thing. You came up and you were saying that we were wasting our time. You're being very vague and ambiguous. Oh, well, this
I'm not
conversation,
being vague and
ma'am,
ambiguous. What
stop.
is
Hold
an
on.
unproductive,
Stop.
constructive?
Don't
What
be
is an
triggered. Hold
unproductive
on.
conversation is
Relax
about?
yourself. Relax yourself because
I'm
I don't
relaxed.
want to mute you. Okay.
Listen,
No,
okay.
okay.
I'll
No, no,
shut
no. You
down.
listen. No, you listen now.
No, you
You
listen.
clearly disliked how this conversation was going. You just said you did. So please don't. I didn't say that. You said you don't
He's
like how
saying
the
the same
conversation is going.
thing.
You feel like we're wasting our time. You can't say what we should be talking about, how we should be dismantling racism, because that's what we are doing here. Okay. We're not out here telling jokes and laughing and all of this stuff. Now, if you're talking about nearly foolish advice that black people shouldn't be meeting outside of doing things productive for the community, you can't say that this isn't productive for the community because that's exactly what was said in the book. You kind of misquoted it a little bit because what we're talking
No, I
about is
did
being
not.
productive for the community. Hold on, because I have the book that you mentioned.
I have it too.
Okay, I'm sure. So we are being productive. There was something said here, ma'am, that you dislike. And because something was said that you don't like, you're now going to rule the whole conversation as being unproductive. That's what
Do
that's what
you?
happened.
Okay, let me
All
ask you
right.
something
So
politically.
what
This
hold
is a
on, let me ask you,
political
hold on.
question.
Just be honest and be transparent. What was said here by whomever that you disagreed with?
All of you are unproductive in your conversations about racism, white supremacy. I don't need to say
No,
that
no, no, no,
anymore.
no. Oh, no, no, no. Be specific.
I don't need to be
Is
specific
it, is
because I
that,
said
no, no, no,
everything.
no.
Everything is
Is it our
specific.
stance on the
I said
Democrats?
everything
Is
is
it our stance
specific.
on
And you're not
lineage?
accepting what I said. That's the problem.
No, no, ma'am, because hold on. Here's the thing. I'm not accepting that. There's nothing to accept or not accept. All right. You're not being
And I don't have to
clear. Hold
accept
on.
what
No, you're not being clear. If I said what was said that you don't like, you guys are just not being productive. Okay. That's your opinion.
Right.
That's your opinion. Are
your
you?
opinion too, sir. It's your opinion too, sir. It's your
No,
Did you take your
it's
medicine
clearly not
today?
my
Did you
opinion.
take
It's
your
my
medicine
opinion.
today?
It's
Stop
everybody on the
screaming at me
panel's
like that.
opinion, and it's the opinion of hundreds of people in the room. Which is why you count. Now she left.
I'm about to
She
say,
She
huh?
left.
left. Is your opinion too? No, clearly it's the opinion of hundreds of people,
He is
and
mad as
that's why
hell.
people are getting at you. The problem is that let me put my book. Well, I'll do that later. The problem is is that something was said, and all of the time when they do that, Neely Fuller said we shouldn't be meeting unless we're dealing with, unless we're addressing racism. No, it's not what he said, actually. But even if we were to go with that, we are addressing racism. Because if we're addressing the political state of Foundation Black Americans in reparations, that's what we're addressing. He said that we should be meeting together for the cause of Black empowerment, okay? Which is what we're doing here, okay? It should always be for a productive cause, which is what we're doing here. Even with that, Neely Fuller is not necessarily the master of Black people.
Right.
That's it's like, well, Neely Fuller said, okay, well, Neely Fuller, he's not the FBA god. We don't have to necessarily, we're not blasphemous for disagreeing with his stance on that, but we're doing that. The problem is not that we're out here joking or just talking and giggling and all that stuff. The problem is that something was said about our lineage that she disagrees with. When I hit her profile, and I saw the Pan-African colors, I'm like, okay, I wanted her to admit that. She's not even woman enough to admit what it really was. It was the fact that when we said we needed to focus on our own ethnic group, now she's like, oh, this ain't a productive conversation. Oh, you're not doing anything about racism. Oh, I don't like this. She didn't want to admit that it was us saying that we need to focus on our lineage that triggered her. Now she's just going to be vague. Well, this conversation is pointless. There's nothing y'all wasting your time. No. You were triggered by us focusing on our lineage. See, this is how these Pan-Africanists be doing stuff.
He was mad.
Can I add something to that?
He was upset. You see how they take out? They try to do that though to make it seem like trying to ease their way in and make it seem like they're not the ops that they are. Using Dr. Lily Fuller and talking about what did she say she was? A foundational American indigenous.
She said a foundational indigenous Black African American.
I don't. She said. I think she said pretty much she was anything and everything in the. I'm like, I said, I didn't even debate that. I said, okay, sure, fine. You can have that. I can't even repeat
Afro.
She gave a whole paragraph. I said, what's your ethnic background? She gave a whole paragraph. I said, okay,
literally.
all right. Sure.
Like, did she say she came with the Brits?
Remember this? She said she's from the UK. Like, come on now, you ain't British.
I'm like, what the hell is she talking about?
Face coming out of your mouth and you talking crazy like that. Take your medicine, woman.
One moment, y'all.
Somebody said got a
Get back up here. That
Can I add something to what you said?
260 in the chat, only 122.9K likes. Can y'all go ahead and tap that screen? Afrobeat also has a gift goal. He likes the little, what's that, thumb parts there, 5 coins each. He has super fan options too. You get some really cool perks, complete your daily missions. But I want to ask this about Neely Fuller. He didn't necessarily believe in reparations, correct, Afro?
I haven't heard him speak against it, but I don't know. I haven't heard him speak for it like that much either, to be honest with you.
Okay, thank you.
Can I add something to what you said, Afro?
He's just not the end all be all. He's not the only man.
I mean, and we listen, and that's the thing. No person is supposed to be listened to with just like some type of deity or something like that.
Right. This ain't Jesus.
Okay.
Damn, what the hell is going on?
I mean, you're quoting people. I'm like, okay, well, I can quote somebody who disagreed with that point. So what does that mean? And I'm not even trying to disagree with his stance on that. But like, okay,
you can go back
and I get why he said it. I get why he said it. I don't think
you gotta forgive a lot of these Pan-Africans. She didn't have a pill, so she had to go take some NyQuil. That's why she dropped down. That's why I came back up here, because he was babbling, and I could have swore I heard her somewhere on Twitter talking that same Jollof babble, and I could tell by her voice too. She was very irritating.
I was about to say also the simple fact,
but she sounds really familiar too, Afro. She does.
Yeah, and also the simple fact how you brought up the situation of how as soon as you said that we should pay attention to our own lineage, and she kind of got triggered about that. But it's also like when you look at especially American history itself, when any other color of race had a problem, who was always at the in front? Us. And it's like, why is it a problem now that we have to pay attention to our own stuff when we always are at the battle for everybody else, even including ourselves? So it's like, why is that a problem now? And it's seen as quote unquote unproductive that we're talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
So she was kind of giving me old Bill Cosby type of vibe, how she was talking. Like everything,
This one of
she
Dr.
was just
Warren
mad
Justice
at.
side chick. She was trying to come here to get donations, brother. She wasn't saying that serious.
Yeah, and she just started yelling. I was like, "What you yelling for?
Yeah.
Ain't
Then
nothing to be yelling
I
at."
stopped talking. I let her finish. Then when I'm talking, she started interrupting and interrupting and interrupting. Now, ma'am, no, something. If I came up and said this is an unproductive conversation, first of all, I wouldn't even have been in there. I wouldn't be leaving no comments talking about this is an unproductive conversation. Y'all wasting y'all time. Ma'am, you can leave. Nobody asked you to come here. That's not what it was. And then I said, okay, well, what has been said that you disagree with that's unproductive? Everything. Okay. Really? Everything? Really? You can't specify what we shouldn't be talking about, what we should be talking about? No. That's not what it was. It's not what it was. More than likely, she's an immigrant and something had bothered her about us saying that we need to focus on our lineage. Either that or Pan-African. First off, even if she was a Pan-Africanist, the whole I'm an American Indian from British, African American, black,
Was
Brother, she
being
got you.
funny, Afro. She was being funny. She was giving all of our. Okay, so we are a lineage, but some of us have different ways to identify. She just ran down every way that we identify. But I want to put this out on the table. Yes, we know some are cosplaying immigrants, some are paying goofies, but we got to call to the table those who may be married to immigrants who don't know how to stand on lineage business. Because last time I checked, your ancestors and your DNA didn't change just because you're sleeping with somebody. Don't be tender. Don't be tender. Because their people collectively aren't for you. And if I sat you down and talked to you, I bet you I could pull out the microaggressions that them foreign people do to you and your black American ass. We got to tell them, they got to understand. We're not saying for the immigrants, well, the Caribbean, or even the Afro Latinos or Latinos, not to be repaired. What we're saying is they've been doing too much and causing our ethnocide and locking us out of certain industries in our own country when they have homelands to go to. Right? So I think people get it confused that we're just anti-immigrant. We're anti-tether, right? We're anti anybody trying to harm us. And how do you expect us to respond to such disrespect from them folks? This is systemic. So if you're sleeping with an immigrant, please know you're still black American and so are your ancestors. Don't be tender down there because they'll leave you in a heartbeat. And then what? You know the ancestors spank us too? Did you think Big Mama put down her switch in heaven? Ah, baby.
yeah.
And my thing is,
Stays out
Hold
even
on,
in
these
let's
the
are
get
afterlife.
real quick. Let's get to Willow Tree, and then we can give final thoughts for real now, and then we can wrap it up.
Hi guys, thanks for having me up. Yeah, I was noticing also a lot of them now are going back to this black and brown correlation thing. There was a panel earlier today talking about we need to be together, and so when I brought up the whole thing about Hispanics being racist, well, white people we have a common enemy, and it's not their fault. So basically, they're saying now, the Democrats are saying now that Hispanics are racist because of white people made them that way. That's what they're pushing now. They're pushing that we should look the other way for the few racist Hispanics that's doing that. So when I pointed out that these people are in political positions, they're in police positions and all these things, oh man, I got dog walks, you know. So I'm just saying, this is something I want y'all to look out for it, keep an ear out for it. They're trying to kind of minimize the racism that's in the brown community. That's what they're trying to do now. Just thought I'd
Yeah,
give y'all a heads up.
yeah.
That's
We got our brother Foundational in the building. How you doing, bro?
Peace, family. All is well with you. Grand afternoon, rich afternoon to everybody. DZ Afro, everybody else. Hope all is well. Great topic. See the thing about it, and the thing about what's going on right now is that they're trying to use any tool and anything they can utilize to galvanize the black community to vote blue. But we gotta understand that now if they gotta use rappers, actors, and I find it funny. Killer Mike is actually somebody I actually took his spot in one of these movies called What Happened Last Night with Amber Rose. He was supposed to be in there, but I kind of kicked him out of there. I took his spot. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But So what we got going on is, do we have a brother that talk about all this, the black community, super pro black for years. We've been hearing how super pro black, he made his little, he had conferences and things like that. And now what we're seeing right now is the switch up. Now we got the black and brown, the Latino, the all this stuff. And I'm trying to understand, like, hold on, family. You wasn't talking like that before. You wasn't talking like that before. You was pro black. Everything was about being black and blackity black, black, black. And now when you put yourself in position, now it's kumbaya. We all got to come in, and now we got to. So this is the kind of stuff that we seeing going on with a lot of these people to switch up, and it kind of makes them look funny. To be honest with you, it's really interesting. Now I didn't see this video in particular. I'm not going to act like I did. Can you kind of elaborate on this video right here, brother?
He was talking about the Supreme Court's voting rights decision, and he said that the Supreme Court, based off of their ruling on the Voting Rights Act, they gutted it, and black people need to get mobilized and get to voting in the midterms. He didn't say for who, but he said black people need to vote in the midterms. And
Okay.
a lot of people are criticizing him because his stance on Democrats and voting has been, they say, wishy-washy.
Yeah. Yeah, they want him to be totally, pretty much, he's, if I'm not mistaken, a progressive, but he's not all the way in on the Democratic shilling, pretty much. And they mad he's not all the way cooking and chucking and jiving, pretty much. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. See, this is and that's what it is. So they want to denigrate the brother because he's not all the way just chucking and driving and getting his little tap dance on. So it's honestly really interesting. We got a lot of these people just they're gonna find any way to try to bring us and try to make us vote blue. I don't care who they want to bring us back on the blue plantation. And they realize we're not going for it. I think what we need to do. I think I heard somebody say earlier. I've been on and off because I was, giving back to the community. I was outside giving to a Black American businesses, and stuff like that. But I was definitely listening in. What we have to do. I think somebody said it earlier. Is we got to again start making these people shook and jive for us. For the last 65 years, we kind of been blue. I don't care who and shooking and jiving for these parties. We shouldn't have no loyalty to these parties, right? We should be making these parties tap dance for us. We should be forcing tangibles and letting them know we want tangibles for these parties. I don't care if you 87 to 92% or 97%, whichever percentage. I don't care if you're a MAGA or blagger. We should have no loyalty to any party, family. That's really what it come down to. We got to start really coming out there, going to the board meetings, going to your local, start showing up at these meetings en masse, and start letting them know and enforcing it. I think sometimes we rely on the few that do go out there, and I think that's the issue. We got to go out there. I'm talking about in the hundreds. Them seats should be full to the top. And then they're gonna start speaking our language. Right now, they're not really speaking our language because we got other people going out and pushing their agenda. So one, lobbying. We got to start putting our money together, lobbying. Two, going out and showing up and showing out and letting it be known.
Yeah.
Sitting back, waiting around, or hoping somebody else, the very few people to do it, that's not going to do it. We got to go out there in unison. We got to be like the Power Rangers when they transform into one and be a giant, really. So I'm going to land on that. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. And Afro, I'm going to definitely be on. My schedule changed, so that's why you haven't been seeing me. I'm a 3 to 11 guy now. So I've been, kind of working 3 to 11. So I don't want you to think I'm just disappearing on you.
Okay.
They got me on they got me on the second shift and everything, but I'm definitely on my days off, or if you're in the mornings or the nights, I'll be there.
I got you. Thank you. Appreciate you always. All right. We can get everybody's closing thoughts. Let's go to Candy. Candy, you were saying something.
Yeah, she called us victims. And I just want to say, as a matter of fact, I am a victim. And that is why I want reparations. I want reparatory justice for my victimhood. All right. I've been victimized. So have my ancestors. I think they are the ultimate victim. Amen. Let's talk about it. They didn't have a judge to call, a police officer. They couldn't be sold to another family. They couldn't trade families. They couldn't go to a different plantation. They couldn't do nothing but take it. There was no justice at all. And then years later, you still don't want to do nothing for us. Yes, we are victims. And I'm sick and tired of y'all acting like y'all didn't do nothing. And I would like to see reparatory justice. I want us to be repaired for that. So because of that, I like to say that right now, what's happening with this Killer Mike dude is the same thing that happens to everybody. They expect us to shuck and jive for them and to support them, even though they don't do nothing for us. Well, that day is gone. Bye, demon
Mhm.
rats. I land.
All right. Appreciate that. Jasmine, final words.
Yeah, so the Fulani person was the example. Like, if you look up the term tether or a goof troop, I'm starting to call them, right? Independent goofies are the people who support them. That would be a perfect example of, well, you guys weren't talking about anything the whole time. When I have a really good memory. Sometimes I forget for a second because I disassociate from tether talk. But I'm like, no, when I first came on here, we were having a discussion about the different parties. Lindo, by the way, if no one remembers, he was like, I'm a Democrat. And now he's over here like, oh my gosh, we're neither party. I get it now. So that was something that was positive that came out of this conversation in real time, was like, I didn't get it. Now I get it. Now I rock with you. We are not no longer acting as a block when it comes to just like going and shucking and jiving, like Candy said, on the Democratic side. I call them the demon rats too, by the way. I've always been center leaning right. And when it comes to the specific things, and I'm going to like try to, summarize myself in like 1 minute, right? Because I can go on and on. But when it comes to the specific things, right? I mentioned those specific things. And that pan Goofy or just maybe a tether Fulani came up here and didn't see me call out the small hats. I always call out the biggest groups of people who are tethering onto us. Them, the Japanese, the natives, Alaskans. I think I went through a whole list and then was like, hey, guess who got nothing? Us. That was one point that was made. The other thing that BX brought up was like, yes, in New York, in her district, they're doing those things and they're backdooring us because some of us are like, okay, well, like the semantics of it, right? Like, all right, the redlining, well, I was redlined too because I'm Hispanic. We talked about that when it comes to individual states, I guess, versus our federal system. And then also the cultural part. For me, I lean more right, definitely Republican, because I'm not okay with little kids having story time by a drag queen. For whatever, that's the weirdest thing, right? They're over here purposefully getting our kids to mutilate themselves, and a lot of these people are undiagnosed autistics, and someone else mentioned that too. But like I said, I wasn't going to take that person serious. And this is why when I go on panels, I always try to respect everybody's rules. But me personally, I'm not going to never call out these people tethering onto us because they're so freaking confused. Like Fulani, the British, Creole, Mississippian. I didn't even take it serious. It was so goofy to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I appreciate learning more about like Killer Mike's thing going on, whatever. They always derail us Afro leading. It irritates my soul.
Yeah.
But I come into these spaces not to sit here and just be like, I know everything. I want to know about Killer Mike. We got that point out and whatnot. And then I also have people coming over here being weird to me. So I'm gonna land there anyways. Love you guys. Bye.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Afro, I'm gonna just say this last point. That's another thing. That was a great point that's being touched, and I'm tired of whenever we call something out, people want to say, "Well, what about you guys? Never have no energy. You always go against the weak black immigrants." This is what they always say all the time, right? And one thing they don't understand is that, and I say this all the time, we had something called Black Twitter when we was going after the white T supremacists and white T racists that made them lose their jobs and businesses. Am I right? Let me know if I'm lying.
No, you correct. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so within that, the immigrant class lived vicariously through us because they didn't have the balls or the gall to do not even a fraction of that. But the problem is they thought our energy only see race or color. See, the one thing they didn't understand is that our energy don't see race and it don't see color. Anybody can get it, right? Even our own kinfolk, they off code, they can get it. So what make you think that because we took the high moral ground the last 63, 62 years, And in the last 3 years, we finally put the line in the sand and said, hold on, all right, we're going to start checking the degenerate, nasty, root chakra, demonic things these black immigrants are doing and saying. And now, all of a sudden, we get the scapegoat of, well, you guys are picking on a no, 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 no. We've been holding our own and not saying nothing for the last 62 years and keeping the high moral ground while you say Akata, while you say the Lord's broken, all kinds of vile, nasty things. And we say, you know what, that's a melanated person. Let's stay on cold. All right, you know what? Let me look the other way. We got to go against the real enemy. That's always been our motto. That's our motto. And they now turning that motto on us and say, you guys don't go against the real. No, no, no. Don't gaslight. So if y'all don't like the fact that now we're finally checking and responding to your degeneracy, then get out the way. Don't jump in front of a punch and then cry about getting hit. If I throw my Mike Tyson punch, you jump in the way, oh well, you're going to get that Mike Tyson knockout. Well, if you don't want to get that Mike Tyson knockout, get out the way of what we're trying to do. It's that simple. Anybody can get it. Right now, we getting ready to go after the small, the people with the hats that's small, that's doing what they're doing with them deed scams in New York. Let's be clear. So I want to make that real clear when we had this conversation. They're not just doing it in New York. I was just talking to a gentleman in Philly because I was in Philly helping a Black American business. I gave him, I can't say I gave him. The family on my platform gave him $1,000, almost $1,000 to a Black American business today. It was very beautiful. And in the midst of that, we talked to another Black American business in Philly, and he talked about how they trying to, offer $1,000,000+ for his building that he owned in Philly, and how they trying to do different scams now since he denied it. So we got energy for everybody. I ain't gonna be too long with it. Though, let's not get it twisted. We gotta stop gaslighting. If you don't like the fact that we checking you with the energy we checking you, get out the way. That's it. I'll land on that.
Real talk. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. All right. Y'all make sure y'all go to For the Culture on YouTube. For the Culture on YouTube. And if you guys are listening from For the Culture on YouTube, thank you. Appreciate you. All right. ZZ, closing thoughts? She might be working right now. So, BX, can you close us out?
Yeah, when you said that last piece of the line, you did this whole actor type thing where you got to look into the camera. I said, look at Afro. But when are you coming back live on TikTok and going to make sure that you send a live to my text message and not my inbox?
Okay, now I got to send a text message too. Okay, all right. Okay. I want to. Let me see. What's tomorrow? Wednesday?
Well, oh no, tomorrow is Thursday, and I'm actually going to be busy tomorrow. I got to.
Today is Wednesday. My day is messy.
Yeah. What about Friday?
It would have to kind of be a little earlier, but I can squeeze something in Friday. Yeah, we can squeeze something in Friday.
So I went live today. I shared the live to you, Afro. It was a really cool live. We talked about Maria Civics. And you ever heard of the Freedmen's Village in Virginia? It was on the Confederate Robert E. Lee's estate. And what they did was give our ancestors who were, they said, leaving the South, like running from the South, and they decided to make that a place of freedom and liberation. Right, and it's a very cool story, history that we're about to go down the rabbit hole in, because come to find out, it showed that our ancestors worked agriculture. Right, they were mandated to give like $10 out of their pay. 5 was for rent, 5 was for maintenance, but the conditions were subpar in how Maria Civics' family were advocates. But come to find out, there were boys kidnapped from there, and Sojourner Truth stepped in and showed them how to write warrants and stuff. It's painful, but it's a really cool story. And in the time of reparations, we can prove that when they won that settlement, it was a form of reparations, but it just wasn't enough to what they actually paid in. But they were, how'd you say it? They were demanded to pay our ancestors a portion of what they paid in to the estate. So I want everybody to look it up on their own. We have some history that will show that sometimes we did get a form of reparations. They had to repair them. So I guess I'll leave it on that. A history note. I'm gonna tell you like this. Malcolm, I guess I ain't leaving it at that. Malcolm X said, "What other community look to the celebrities as their leaders?" I don't pay attention to Killer Mike. Y'all know I don't be interested in certain things. Killer Mike and his agenda, whether it's progressive or democratic, don't make no sense to me, right? Because I ain't paying attention. Because I'm gonna vote for who has the best policy for the collective of foundational Black Americans, not the collective so-called Black and brown, brown and Asian and Black. I'm not doing all of that. As foundational Black Americans first or bust for me. I land.
All right. There we go. Zizi, you back now. So you got any closing thoughts before we leave?
Yes, final thoughts. Yes, exactly what BX said. We can't look at these celebrities as our, political leaders. They're not. It is what it is. No matter how political they do get, you got your Stephen A. Smiths and some of these other Negroes running around acting like, they should have, they should be valid leaders, to a degree inside these spaces, and they shouldn't be. It just is what it is, But I will say, even though he's not all the way, like DNC shilling, should I say, I don't respect the half in, half out. I don't respect the fake kind of black be oneness or pro blackness. You supporting Bernie Sanders, like I said, I think that should be a side eye of enough, even though he didn't support Kamala and Hillary. But even with the other candidates, again, it's like halfway heaven. Well, I'm not going to support them, but I'm going to support them. But neither one is supporting reparations. So, that should automatically be a red flag within itself, when we look at some of these people. Now, if you want to, again, take their advice, you want to listen because that's one of your favorite artists, and you're just curious, about their political views or some of their views on social issues, sure. Do you? But to seriously take that into account when going to some of the polls, and we do have actual master teachers, shout out to the late Dr. Louis Phillip Jr. We do have people out here, revolutionaries, teachers, political scientists that actually do study these things. Okay. That actually do study these things. Those are the people we should be listening to. But shout out to the chat, shout out to the panel. This was a good conversation.
All right. Yep. Appreciate that. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one. Y'all make sure y'all go to For the Culture on YouTube. For the Culture on YouTube. And if you're from YouTube, thank you all for listening. We appreciate you. Please make sure you subscribe and hit that like button.
Peace and be one.